shack at? The bottle's getting empty up the Kraken. We stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated public sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon to be. Pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers, back in business. Happy Wednesday, January 24th to all of you. Thank you for joining us here on Betting with the Bag on Pub Sports Radio. We have a huge Wednesday card here. Full NHL card, full college basketball card, full NBA card. We have Conor Mac fresh off board sweepage last week. Conor Mac of 4-0 plus 4.62 units on the show last week in NHL and college basketball combined. So he's going to get right back to work here. And then we have best bets from CMac, Daby Cab, and Mikey Money in college basketball. And then we have Dutch Boy Fresh in NBA. I'm pumped up. I've hit this NHL card pretty hard. It's tricky. A lot of big favorites, and I like some of the big favorites, which is something that I wish I didn't. And I've moved on them. There's one total I'm very interested in, haven't moved on, and a couple other spots that I do want to talk out. I'm pumped up, though. Pumped up. Happy to be here. We shot our Bankroll Blitz conference final video last night. Both Troy and I are bullish on the Ravens, and there's a lot of love for Mahomes and the Chiefs, so it's a pretty good gambling situation here. Lines moving towards the Ravens and a ton of love. And the love for Mahomes and the Chiefs, it's not just, oh, I like them. It's very passionate. They're certain that Mahomes is going to deliver, certain that Swift is going to be the star of the Super Bowl. We'll see. All comes down to the field. So we will be live for NFL Pub Hub on Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And then we're going to be live for both football games. We'll be live for both football games. And, of course, it's Wednesday, which means horse race. $50. Director 97 picked up $100 on Friday. $50 up for grabs if you are a gold member. Gold member of Pub Sports Radio. $50 up for grabs. Our horse race number 3. I'm pumped up. Shout out to Vincent Ramirez in the house. His big day today, boys. Dan Kelly says PGA starts at 11:50 Eastern. San Diego, 6 of the last 8 winners with 3 strokes or more back entering the final round. DraftKings has a prop winner in the final group. Winner in the final grouping. No pays plus 175. Wow, that's a wild angle. Wildly interesting angle. Dan Vipe in the house. Shea over 1.5 steals. Chet over 15.5 points. Vancouver -1. Colorado -1. LA -1. Of the big favorites, it's interesting. You guys know how bad I want to fade the Capitals. What is Colorado going to do here? It's kind of a funny spot coming back from a very tough road trip. They give Bowen Byram and Lehkonen back. Washington gets destroyed in the first 2 games. In fact, I don't want to ever bet Washington, but Washington first period sounds pretty interesting as a look to me, but I just never want to bet the Capitals. So the Vancouver -1, though, smash spot. LA -1. Look, I'm a glutton for punishment, as are you, Vipe. We're going back to the LA Kings. Well, Dan Kelly's on Nelly Corda, top 10, paying plus 120 on the LPGA Tour this week in Bradenton. She grew up in Bradenton, gets to sleep in her own bed and eat home cooking. Says no brainer. And Dan Clay says the reason PGA starts today so they can finish on Saturday and don't have to compete for TV ratings with NFL on Sunday. That's a great move for them. And he says the LPGA TV audience doesn't watch football. You're absolutely right there, Dan. Absolutely. Slow Jams Arsenal in the house. There's Ian Shaber ready to get to work. Slow Jams Arsenal says Edmonton Oilers is a gift that keeps giving 14 in a row. Yeah, playing very, very good hockey right now. Jay Smooth in the house. Ian Shaver says Fade the Flames was definitely my favorite W yesterday. Big comeback for the Blues, which, I even said when I was putting my bet in for the Canucks, I was like, oh, wouldn't this just be heaven if the Blues could come all the way back and win this hockey game? I mean, it'll just make the bet even nicer. And that's exactly what happened. Stacks play of the day is in for Justin McKelvey. It is Northwestern plus 3.5. Northwestern plus 3.5. Let's make sure that is copied and pasted for our college basketball breakdowns. This is how it bangs out for us in college basketball, just to give you guys an idea of what we're doing. Every single game that will be talked about by one of our experts is a game they're betting. So it's not just, content for content's sake. 7:30 p.m. Auburn, Alabama. 7:30 for this is Conor Mac. Auburn, Alabama, East Carolina, Wichita State, Florida Atlantic, Rice, Colorado, Washington. Daby Cab, Miami, Notre Dame, and Illinois Northwestern. So that's a perfect spot there that Justin McElvey Stacks play of the day is. So let's just have that set up so we can discuss it when we hear Daby Cab's plan of action. And then Mikey Money joining us. He's on James Madison, Old Dominion. He's also hammering all of Auburn, Alabama. So that game will be touched on by both CMac and Mikey. UNC Greensboro, Western Carolina, Villanova, St. John's, and the college basketball segment closes with Colorado State at Nevada. That is the plan. There's Sammy Cumler in the house, Serious Business, Troy Torrance, Ronnie Lofton, ready to get to work. Love seeing that. There's the nuke worker. Dan Kelly says 2 months ago, I said that Adrian Griffin looked like he was confused on the Bucs sideline. I was looking for a line for next coach fired on him. Never did find it. And he says he figures Giannis went to management. Can you believe that it could be Doc again? I mean, why just it's unbelievable the incredible opportunities Doc Rivers has had and with very little to show for it. Bunk Hoots in the house. Bunk Hoots. And Dan Kelly said they should have fired whoever hired Griffin. I agree. All right. Real Deal Prime says this just in. Jazz owners requested that the NHL initiate an expansion process with the ultimate purpose of bringing an NHL franchise to Utah. I would love that. Subhuman Gaucho. Smooth balls play of the day from our guy Jay Smooth. Is the under 146.5 in Richmond, George Washington. Couple months from now, we'll all be hanging out with Jay Smooth at the Southtown 101. Let's get this in here. So have that here right before our college basketball segment because we do not touch on that basketball game. Jay Smooth is in Smooth Balls play of the day. Bunk Hoots also on the Ravens. Joey Marinaccio. Yes, he did. The Dapper Capper, the guy who was talking up Sienna, he came on to our show, our NFL show, and he apologized. And he doesn't have to apologize. It's all good. You have angles that you want to believe in. Now, he was very adamant. He was very extreme in his belief on Sienna, but it's all the same. Dan Kelly says he's going to roll with us on the Ravens. I cannot wait. There's Subhuman Gaucho, the Subhuman Soccer play of the day. PSV Eindhoven draw no bet at plus 125. Subhuman Gaucho, when does that game go off? Just for our cappers in the chat who may want to rock with you on that one, let us know exactly what time that game pops off. Great group. Michael Johnson in the house. Scarman Addy, Slatsy 45 says whoever the goalies are in Boston, Carolina game, Bruins have a huge advantage. We think it's Spencer Martin, and I'm on the Bruins. And it's not even fading Spencer Martin. I mean, if it is Spencer Martin, he might give them a slight boost for a little bit. It's just a bet on the Bruins for me. Bet on the Bruins. All right, great to see all you guys. Joey Harb ready to go. Vaughn Polo in the house. Great group. Wine Time Sports ready to get to work. Joey Harb, Robert Franklin, UPK, Ayashi, Philly Eagle Flyer. Rocco Rogers says Ottawa team total over 3.5 was another NHL big boy bet for me yesterday. And -1, I was all in. Says this spot couldn't have been better with how I've seen the Habs and the Sens play. Had to back them. I love it. Yeah, Dan Kelly says shake my head with notion of dog. I was shocked. I was completely astonished. Why not try something that might work when we know that something doesn't work? But we'll see how it bangs out. They haven't made a decision yet. There's Joseph Thompson ready to get to work. Browns Hughes in the house. And Subhuman Gaucho saying that PSV bet is for 2 p.m. Eastern. It's a cup match, so be sure to look on the books for Dutch Up or a KNVB Cup rather than league. Thank you, Subhuman Gaucho. There's Berkey, Bump Sanderson, Mike Wilkerson ready to go. So let's get right to work and bring on your first guest again. Board Sweepage. 4-0 plus 4.62 units last Wednesday with us. He cashed with the Habs. We didn't lose. Our Buffalo under got postponed, and that became the only spot on the board for CMac in NHL, and he cashed it, and he's now in the black with an ROI plus 6.52%. His average line in NHL plus 136. A very impressive high average line, and he's running hot. So let's bring him on right now. Coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada. Make it up. Make it a Mac Daddy in the house.
Hey, what's up, my man? Great to see you. How you doing?
It's great to see you, my man. I want you to carry on exactly from where you left off on Wednesday. Where the hotter you get, the better the show does.
Of course.
And we have listen to this. So the horses will start after hockey. So it's going to be a 2.5 hour race. Okay. 2.5 hour race here for us, a 2.5 hour race. So it's a big one. Very, very funny 2.5 hour race. So Jose's going to come on and we'll get that race started. There it is, 2.5 hour race. So we'll have to jump in and see who's winning throughout this marathon of marathons. A marathon of marathons. The longest race in the history of equine sports. All right, let's roll. DJ 100 Grand says, what up, bro? Definitely want to work with you again. Let's do that. I'd love that, DJ 100 Grand. I will copy and paste that. DJ 100 Grand and I used to rock together when I was down in Costa Rica. A great NBA capper. I've copied and pasted that, DJ 100 Grand. I will reach out. All right. Sweaty Butcher says, what is this horse race? It is every Wednesday and Friday. Pub Sports Radio Gold members will race with $50 on the line. If Slaughter, myself, or Preston wins, it goes back in. So it'll be $100 for the race after that. And I did win. I won the first one. It was huge. A huge late pace. I just turned on the afterburners. It was just a fucking secretariat. It was too easy.
Secretariat.
Oh, it was just the burners came on, man. It was a stretch of the Belmont. I just said goodbye. I waved goodbye to everybody. And we have Director 97 winning the second race. So if you are a gold member, you will be up for 50 grand. Sweaty Butchers, how do I get a horse? Look, I get it. And Stimmy OG's big on the Maple Leafs and the over 6. That's so interesting because I saw Nicholas Earl on the over 6, and I'm very interested in the under. With Nick Earl on that over, I thought, you know what? Let's talk it out first. But interesting Stimmy here. So we'll start with that. Let's get right to work, CMac. Let's get right to work in NHL. You are now in the black. Next stop, double-digit units in the black is what we would like for you. Let's roll. We start 7 p.m. Eastern. The Winnipeg Jets, and they're called Clips, upgrading this membership to PSR Gold. Every time someone upgrades their membership to PSR Gold, we will hear a horse sound from Jose Bouquet. So, Jose, give us the first one, buddy.
Wow. Him doing it. This is not like a button pushing. This is him ripping it. Wow. Wow. You got to become a member to get that. Make him do that 10 times during the show. At least, guys. Come on.
Laurent Brossoit and Ilya Samsonov. So I can understand the idea of other Jimmy Gomez in the house as well. Great to see you, Nasty Nate. Great group. And
boom.
Bunk Hoots is a member of Weeby Pubbin, so that's almost there. If you become a gold member, then you get the horse sound. You're almost. Oh,
he's halfway home.
You're halfway home. You're halfway. The horse is revving up, but you won't get it. Rob Frank says the horse caught a cold. We're not sure. Probably equine herpes, but we still love it very, very much. Brossoit, Samsonov here. So I guess part of the idea with all these cappers two cappers that are very strong on the over here, would be that Brossoit is a big drop from Hellebuck. Brossoit has been excellent this year. Yes, Hellebuck is probably a front runner for the Vezina, but Brossoit has been very good. Toronto is minus 127 on the opening line. Oh, wow. Sorry, minus 121 on the opening line. This has gone up to minus 137, so I need to refresh this. Excuse me. God, I'm doing this all wrong. This has gone up to minus 134. So we've had a 13-cent move towards the Toronto Maple Leafs. And from a total perspective, we are sitting here with a 6. This opened up at 6, basically a pick 'em. Minus 108 to the over, minus 106 to the under. And then it moved to the over so much so that a little after midnight, this moved up to 6.5. It was 6.5 until just for about an hour and a half, and it came down to 6. And then the move started pushing towards the under. At 4:39 a.m., this under 6 was at plus 108. At 10:15 a.m., this under 6 was minus 104. At that point, we had a 12-cent move to the under. Now it's at even money. So at this point, there's only been a 4-cent move to the over. So clearly, there's action on both sides. All right, we have 2 new PSR Gold members. That's for Bunkoos. That's for Bunkoos right there. And now for Browns Hughes. Can we hear it for Browns Hughes? Oh, that horse is high on drugs.
Yes.
That horse is
that second one.
That horse is in some sort of a dance party right now. It's got some horse love in its face. Wow. All right. That horse is high. Very, very high. So let's go back to this spot here. Winnipeg power play 16.3%, penalty killing 77.5%, Toronto power play 24.6%, penalty killing 76.4%. Jets had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 4-1 loss to the Bruins on Monday. That spot was as confident as I've been in a spot in a while. I went up to 1.5 units on that, and I've already increased my unit size. So I was so confident in the Bruins continuing their impressive homestand and the Jets being vulnerable without Scheifele in the lineup. Now they don't have Velarde in the lineup either. Now, either of them. Now, Gabe Velarde was a game time decision on Monday. He could go tonight. And Scheifele's a game time decision tonight. And this is the center of the hockey universe supposedly in Toronto. So I can imagine that they both want to play. Winnipeg had given up no more than 2 goals in 14 straight games, 3 or fewer in 34 straight. That was one short of the modern NHL record set by the 2015 Wild. So this is their final game of a 3-game road trip. Then they play the Leafs again at home on Saturday night. And I love when teams, and we'll have this in NBA, we'll talk about this a lot, teams are playing the same team, back-to-back games, whether it's a home and home or 2 spots in the same barn. It's very helpful. I think it makes things easier to predict. So with them out, Adam Lowry is the first-line center, and Vladislav Nemesnikov is the second-line center. And they just, Adam Lowry does a lot of good things, but he's not a top-line center. And Nemesnikov, I don't even think he's a top 6 forward necessarily. I mean, he's on the edge of it. The Leafs coming off their second win in 3 games, 3-1 at the Kraken on Sunday night. That was the final game of their 4-game Western road trip. So my first instinct was I want to fade the Jets again. I do not know if Scheifele or Velarde will be in the lineup, and if they do, they're not going to be fully healthy. But then I quickly went to, do I really want the Leafs on the first game back after this road trip? Tyler Bertuzzi, away from the team. He's with his wife. She's about to give birth, so he's left the team. So Ryan Reeves is now come off injured reserve. I don't know if they play him. He's been horrific this year. But here now, when the Leafs are at their best, I know Bertuzzi is called for bad penalties, but he brings a toughness to their squad. He's not there, and I don't know if Scheifele and Velarde are going to be there. When I put it all together, I still wanted the under, and I didn't want the Leafs. So I'm off. Take it away, CMac. What are your thoughts here on this big one at Scotiabank?
Yeah, when I look at the Maple Leafs here, this is just kind of like the Yankee tax. This is a little bit high, I thought, for even them at home, Jimmy. And you mentioned it. It's because of that West Coast swing for, the Edmonton, Calgary. Then they end up in Seattle. Now they're back here. There's just no way I can take Toronto. You mentioned Bertuzzi. At least he brings the toughness like you were talking about to this team, because they just play their defense in spurts. There's just flashes where they look good and they just look horrible at times, this Maple Leafs team. It's in the worst of times, especially even at home, which I know they've been all right this year. The Jets finally, you mentioned, snapped the under goals. They got that late one, the empty netter. Bruins, that was good. We'll get to the Bruins later here. My biggest thing is I want the Jets here, but I can't with Velarde and Scheifele. I have to know they're going to play in this game. So it was an offer to me, and I still lean under. I get why you'd want the over. I don't want it, though. Not here. This classic couple years ago, these teams, maybe the over would be money. Not the way the Jets have been playing. I just can't do it.
I will say that Stimmy and Nicholas Earl can take me off betting the under. I have enough action, and I expect to have more on the hardwood here shortly. So I'll let it go. But, so I guess why are they looking at the over? They're saying that Samsonov is horrific and he's expected to be in that, but he's coming off a good game against the Kraken. We know that he's mentally weak. Oh, I shouldn't say that. We have a suspicion that he's mentally weak. And if that is the case, then he should ride the momentum off of that win against the Kraken and be in net here and play well. Brisebois when I watched the Oilers and their issues to start the year, or any team like Carolina Hurricanes, anybody could have got Brisebois in the offseason. I don't know why they didn't. 2.18 goals against every time, 23 save percentage. Chip Pilar in the house. By the way, our guy TJ checking in from Abu Dhabi. We love you, TJ. Yeah. Get back here to North America soon.
Brisebois been excellent, Jimmy. I mean, I don't mind him being in if Hellebuyck's not at all. So,
yeah, I think he's been great. So, with it all said and done, I'll let my Stimmy and Nicholas just get me off of the under. And also, I found it quite interesting that this total went from 6 to 6.5, and it's come back. If I could have got it at 6.5, but Mikey M says he loves this under.
I mean, I get it. He's probably been riding the Jets unders. I've been on a few myself. Oh, wait.
Wow. Okay. Well, if he says he loves it, I'll spend more time with it because my plan was to move on it. But then again, Slatsy's saying I want to know what's going on with Scheifele and Velarde. For me, if Scheifele's in, that won't get me off the under. But if they're both in, Velarde 20 points, 26 games, he's a big asset to the offense. So. Okay, well, let's roll on. Next up for us, Arizona Coyotes at Florida Panthers. We're at Amerant Bank Arena in Sunrise, Florida. Connor Ingram versus Sergei Bobrovsky. So I've got big favorites on my card today. That's not a good thing. It's not something that I want to have, and I do. But I don't have the Florida Panthers, but I came close. I really did. Coyotes coming off their second straight win, 5-2 at home over the Penguins on Tuesday, and now they head on the road. They've won 8 of 21 games in regulation on the road. And Nick Schmaltz has missed 3 straight. Now, Schmaltz did travel with the team. He could return here, and he's been a big part of their offense over the last few years. And then they have no Dumba. And, I mentioned it in the hockey chat, and the reply was Dumba has 1 point in his last 27 games. I don't care. But from an X's and O's standpoint, he plays 20 minutes a game. And I know he's a -10. That's probably better than what, he's trying to be. The reason why the Wild finally probably had enough was because they were trying so hard to get him to be more responsible defensively. And I believe the same thing's going on in Phoenix. But if Dumba is not there, then it's Moser and Dursey are going to have to play 25 minutes. Who comes up? Valimaki or Kesselring is going to come up with Travis Dermott. It's not good. I tell you that, it's not good. Not good at all. There's Kelly McInnes in the house. And Slatsy says Bob confirmed and Barkov game time decision. Then you have that issue with the Panthers. He's missed the last 3 games with a lower body injury. He says that he's very close to returning. He didn't travel with the team to Nashville, so he's been in Florida. So maybe he goes now. Maybe he doesn't. They snapped their 4-game losing streak with a 4-1 win at Nashville on Monday. They've lost 4 straight at home. Like, you have to think they're just going to come out fired up. So I thought long and hard about the Panthers on the puck line and didn't move. This total is at 6 right now. It's at 6. It opened up -119 to the over. It's not just -107 to the over. So we've had a real legit move towards the under. And from a money line perspective, I got to refresh this. From a money line perspective, it's popping up right now. We have a Florida sitting at -232. They opened up at -209. The funny thing about this was there's been crazy market moves. This got up to 231 and then dropped down to 203. There was just like a 20. Maybe Barkov was just in that. Maybe somebody came out and just announced that Barkov is in, because at 11:17, 9 minutes ago, there was a 26-cent move towards the Florida Panthers. And I would be a little surprised if that was only based on a sharp action. There's Truth Teller in the house. Great to see you, Truth Teller. Ron Lofton on the over 6 here. Chip Plyler said Florida looked impressive in Nashville on Monday night. Bobrovsky's playing decent, and Florida penalty kill at 82.2%, power play 22.2%. And Arizona's power play being really strong all year at 23%, penalty killing 79.6%. Take it away for us here, CMac. Coyotes, Panthers.
Yeah, Bob's look pretty good. You know what? One thing was riding this Panthers team while they're hot. There's just a little bit, that was a good win. And I got back to playing Divas. They were just getting, it seemed like, beat to everything. A little bit of puck, but just goal on, all that losing streak at home. where they've been good until that 3-game losing streak. You mentioned 4 straight, really at home. They come back here. They're just a huge favorite. I mean, I kind of was leaning over. I thought there could be goals in this game. I just didn't love it enough to take it. That I was going to lean that way. The Yotes, you know what I won them the other day, Jimmy. They had lost 10 straight, the Penguins. They finally got over the hump. I just couldn't take them. In the end, I just didn't do it. They came out good. And it's been hard to figure out this team. At times, they're scrappy, but they get beat up. They're not very big. I can't go with the Yotes. I think the Panthers win here at home. Just the line's too big. You'd have to go on the puck line. I don't want to do it. So I got to just keep a lean here on the over.
I love it. I love the breakdown. I can't move on. Truth Teller, by the way, says I've never seen so many squares in line on one side of the bets than the Ravens. So a nice little slam on Troy and I. It's 51% of the tickets on the Ravens, but Truth Teller. And you know, one thing I knew about being on the Ravens was that because I cashed on the Chiefs back-to-back weeks, that so many people are going to be possibly blinded by the fact that they've just cashed on the Chiefs back-to-back and going to go right back to the window. Because that was my plan when I went into the cap. I love it, Truth Teller. I love how because the cappers who are on the Ravens, the cappers who are on the Ravens, they're just like, this is why I'm on the Ravens, blah blah. And the cappers who are on the Chiefs are like, you are an idiot. You think Mahomes is going to lose it? You think Swifty's not going to be it? So you fucking idiot! Like it's so different. People on the Ravens like, well, look, this is why I think the Ravens are going to win. And then 1,000% guarantee the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. That's what we were getting last night. And Truth Teller following that same sort of thing. It's very funny. Okay, so Coyotes, Panthers. You have a lean to the over, and we move on.
Yeah. Oh, to answer Chip, we'll get to Auburn, Alabama. I am on that game. So we will be talking about it. Chip.
Let's roll on. We move on to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Carolina Hurricanes 25-15 and 5, 12-10-1 on the road to the Boston Bruins 29-8-9, 16-3-3 at home. We're at TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. We think Spencer Martin's going to be in between the pipes. 3-8-1, 3.65 goals against average, 8.87 save percentage. Linus Ullmark 14-5-2, 2.80 goals against average, 9.13 save percentage. But it could be Swayman. So let me know if it changes here. Carolina power play at 27%, penalty killing 83.3%. Boston power play 26.8%, penalty killing at 83.9%. And here, this is not a fade of Carolina. The Carolinas on the first half of back-to-back, they just concluded a 3-2-1 6-game homestand. This is not a fade of Carolina. This is a bet on the Boston Bruins. And I think that at this number at home, that they should probably be blindly bet on the -1 line if you can get it at a decent price. Here, we're getting it at a simply spectacular price. A big plus line, which is hard for me to comprehend. Fanatical Jim says last home game for the Bruins before the break. Bruins money line for him. 5 straight wins, and they're not just winning barely. They're really dominating play through the first 4 games of this homestand. I don't usually like backing teams on the final game of homestand either, but through the first 4 games of the homestand, they've outscored their opposition 21-7. And it's bananas in the arena. The crowd's going nuts, and they're just a bet on hockey team. I do think if it's Spencer Martin, I do think they get a boost. I really do, but I don't care. And we've seen Spencer Martin come in his first game with new teams and play well, but then we've seen him ditched 6 weeks later, so we'll see how it bangs out. But I'm on the Boston Bruins -1. I got +121 at Pinnacle last night. Take it away, my man.
I love it, Jimmy. When I saw this last night, this was the play for me. You talked about how we just raucous there at home. Why would you not want to take this Bruins team? Even the last game at home, they're the best team at home. NHL, basically. The record, I think it's right there. They've been money all year, 16-3. So I love the play. And this is one where it's low enough. You can take the money line. I don't want that. And I don't have to go crazy with the puck line. Because what's the -1? What does that come out to?
21. Let me see.
That's good enough. That's good enough. Just in case they win by 1. I love it. I don't want Carolina here. they just give up too many goals, especially on the road. I think they're a very average team on the road. I don't trust them. I love it. Give me the Bruins -1.
In another sport, I would be concerned somewhat by this low price. I can get +119 right now, so just 2 cents worse than when I got it. But I'm not concerned in NHL. I'm not, and I can understand backing, or like you said, the Hurricanes are 12-10-1 on the road. So yes, is this a suspicious price? Maybe. But I'm going to back it as I've been backing it over. And
Boston's had trouble in Carolina. I mean, from time to time. But at home, they took care of business against them, and they've been great. I got to ride with them here.
I'm with you. Let's move on. 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Now, I had said that I was going to fade the Capitals on 3 of the 4 games of the road trip. I wasn't going to fade them against the Minnesota Wild. That was a mistake. I should have been on the Wild. But here, something just doesn't feel right. You had Kemper in net last night. He's trash. Lindgren comes in tonight. 2.27 goals against average, 926 average, and 2 shutouts. Charlie Lindgren, is their number one. Georgiev has not been very good this year. The 4-game road trip was open with ugly losses. They lost at St. Louis 3-0 on Saturday, and they were down 5-1 last night at Minnesota before they, scored 2 goals, meaningless goals. And then this is Colorado's first game back after a tough 5-game road trip. They scored 24 goals. They allowed 21 goals. That's just the way they play. They finished with that 7-4 win in Philadelphia on Saturday night. Nishushkin remains in rehab. Now they get Lehkonen back, who's going to be a huge boost. They get Bowen Byram back as well. And if I didn't really dislike this Avalanche hockey team, I would probably bet them first period here. Oh, sorry, this Capital hockey team. Sorry, if I didn't really dislike this Capital hockey team, I would probably bet the Capitals first period here. There's been an 11-cent move towards Colorado, nothing too big. And then totals-wise, here we have a 6 at -119 to the over. It opened at -117 over, 2-cent move to the over. So the plan here is real simple. I'll just pray that I'm right with the Capitals first period. And if I am, I will then bet the Avalanche live if I can, and I might wait. I often wait too long because they know how easy they come back, and I want to wait until I get a nice line. But so this was a planned fade against the Capitals that I am not doing. I'm not following through with it. I just coming home after the trip. It's the same situation that the Leafs are in, but this 5-game road trip for the Avalanche was really difficult. Take it away, CMac. Capitals, Avalanche.
You mentioned that, and this Avs team has just been scoring a bunch of goals and giving some up. You mentioned Byron back here for the Avalanche. It should help them out. What I've been impressed with a little bit, Washington is getting healthy. Ovechkin's back. Strome's been pretty good all year. He's back playing well. They got Pacioretty. Oshie, I think he had a hat trick the other day. I normally would, of course, with Washington, I played it a bunch, Jimmy, been on their under. But I think here at the 6, I got to take the over. It feels like the Caps could get 2 or 3 goals. And I think the Avalanche are able to score at home. They've been able to get 4 or 5. So give me the over here. We have a 6. What's the best number you can find? Like -117?
I'm going to get you that over here. It's funny, truth teller saying that Troy is the definition of a square. In my life, I have never seen a square make 420 bets in any sport and have a 10.29% ROI and be up 43.23 units.
Yeah, that's not
if
true.
That was the case, we'd all be squares, baby. We'd all be squares. So let's grab you this here. Best line on the over in Washington, Colorado. So I'm seeing the 6s got -118, -117 at Heritage is best. Can you beat that?
No, that's the best I got too.
Okay. Over 6. Interesting look, over 6. This would also be, if it could possibly be 1-0 or even a 2-0 for the Capitals after the first or something like that, then the live. This is going to be. I'm not taking the Capitals first period because I despise them, But if I'm actually right, I still think I can make money off of it. I will get in live on the Avalanche and get in live on the over, but maybe it won't be an opportunity for it. CMac has moved on the over 6 at -117. All right, let's roll on. Next spot on the board for us, 10 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis Blues, 22-20-2, 8-12-1 on the road at the Vancouver Canucks, 32-11-4, 17-4-1 at home, Rogers Arena in Vancouver, BC. And Slatzy saying Abs on a 3-day break. Yeah, it's something is just JT in the house. What up, JT? Great to see you. Something just about the new players coming back and the excited. I don't know. They're a much better team than the Capitals. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I'm off this one. Joel Hofer, 7-8, 2.88 goals against average, 9-10 save percentage, 1 shutout. Now, the risk in this bet, and Hofer has not looked good in his last 3 games, but the risk in this bet is Winnipeg boy, excited to play in Vancouver, stands on his head. We've seen him do it before. That's the only risk here. The only risk. Demko, 25-8-1, 2.4 goals against average, 9.22 save percentage, 5 shutouts. I do believe that I don't. It's got to be the 5th game of the home. There's always a concern when you back the Canucks that Thatcher Demko won't be in between the pipes, that it'll be a rest spot for him. That's always going to be a concern. It is what it is. He's probably not going to play every game here, and they're so we'll see. The Blues are on the second half of back-to-back after their second straight win, an impressive 4-3 comeback victory at Calgary last night. And as I said, when I made this bet, I was hoping that the Blues would come back against the Flames. I didn't want them to lose 3-0 or 4-0. I wanted them to come back. The Canucks coming off their 3rd straight win, 2-0 at home over the Blackhawks on Monday. And this is my favorite spot in basketball hockey. Game 4 of a 5-game homestand or Game 5 of a 6-game homestand. This, to me, is a smash spot for these Vancouver Canucks. And I moved on it. Let's take a look at the line history here. I took them on the puck line at +110. This is the under 6 Nats -117, now -118. So we've had no move on the total. And from a money line standpoint, we are sitting here with the Canucks at -242. They opened up at -235. They've got down to 228. They've gone up to 248. I think this is just a fair line, Rocco Rogers says, I want to back the Blues again. Vancouver's so good, but the market's been terribly wrong on the Blues all year. I agree, but I feel that's more of an enterprise center situation, personally.
Yeah.
But I agree. I've said that as well. And look, if you're cashing on a spot and you're confident in it, just remember that there's no such thing as a house's money. That's your money. So I don't like that idea that, I'm up this much, so I don't care as much or anything like that. That's your money that you've earned. But if you trust it, then move on it. Roll with it. And here I really like the Canucks to smash and grab here against the Blues. And what do I expect? I expect final score 5-1. Take it away for us. And I just kind of wanted to see what the plus. I got +110, and I bet this before it was available at Pinnacle. Because the Blues were still in play. I bet at 365. It's still +110 right now, so it hasn't changed. Take it away for us here, CMac. Blues, Canucks.
Yeah, I like talking about the Blues. I want to back them too, but I want to back them a lot more at home. And that was a great win last night, 4-3. Bennington was decent. Obviously, I don't think he'll be in tonight. It'll be Hofer. He's been okay. The record's not great, but he's had his spots where he's looked decent. But I think this is a Vancouver spot. It's too steep for me, Jimmy. I don't want the puck line here. It's just gotten a little bit too far out here. I think Vancouver could take care of business. One thing, though, Blues, this is always a pretty good rivalry when these teams get together. The games are always excellent. The Blues is a pretty good matchup. On the road, it's tempting for me to look at the Blues. There's not these dogs that I just want to take, especially a home one on this card today, 1 or 2 where I'd really want to be on. So it was tough for me, but I had to stay off this one.
I hear you. Canucks -1.5. By the way, Razor Sharp Picks delivered his entire Gulfstream card. We popped it up here and showcased it for you guys. I've copied and pasted it, and I'll drop it again for you guys at the end of the show. Thank you for sharing all that with us. Razor. All right, let's roll on. Next up are 2 back-to-back double-up spots for me at 10 p.m. And we also have college basketball that pops off at 11 p.m. So there's going to be there's no sleeping until 2 a.m. at the earliest for me this evening. Here we go. Chicago Blackhawks 14-31-2, 4-20-1 on the road. Seattle Kraken 19-18-9, 9-9-3 at home. We're at Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. Do we have confirmed goaltending here? And enough. No, we don't have anything confirmed. Do we have confirmed goaltending here for the Kraken? I'm very interested to hear what happens. They have Grubauer listed. I certainly don't want a Grubauer in the lineup. Or between the pipes, going up against Mrazek. The thing is that when you go up against the Blackhawks, you need to have motivation, enormous motivation. And I have that sense with the Kraken coming off their fourth straight loss, 3-1 at home versus Leafs on Sunday, that they have that confirmation. No, Nutflush. Binney was last night, so Binney's not going to go back-to-back unless Hofer's sick. So Hofer's got to be in.
I'll be right back, Jim.
Okay, no worries, my man. So, Blackhawks coming off their second loss, 3 games, 2-0 the Canucks on Monday. They've scored 12 goals in 8 games since Connor Bedard got hurt, and that includes that 4-goal outburst off the hop when their first game without Bedard. So, I moved on 2 spots. One thing here, and something I'm tracking, is I'm destroying under 5.5s when I bet them. Sample size is small. We'll see how this bangs out. But I'm cashing them at the highest rate of any angle in my NHL season. We'll see how that bangs out over a bigger sample size. But I'm on the under 5.5 here. This Kraken team is missing some key parts to their offense. Beniers is out, and I know that he's not been very good this year, but he's a big part of their offense. Oliver Bjorkstrand is, we don't know what the hell's going on, personal reasons. Then they don't have Vince Dunn, which hurts their defense. And the Blackhawks have a litany of injuries. I mean, it's just nonstop. Connor Murphy, Andreas Athanasiou, Anthony Beauvillier. And again, I've been saying this too. If you're going to bet an under with the Blackhawks, you want Andreas Athanasiou and Anthony Beauvillier wearing suits and watching from up there, because they don't know what it means to be defensively accountable. Zaitsev is out, Tyler Johnson is out, and of course Bedard is out, and we don't need to talk about Taylor Hall. So I'm on the under 5.5. I got this at minus 105 at 365. Right now it is at it's at minus 110. So it's a 5-cent move in that direction. It's a pick 'em at Pinnacle 2, which is right where it opened. A lot of people don't want to bet 5.5s anymore in NHL, which is a wonderful opportunity to move on it. Wonderful opportunity to move on it, I think. And then I'm also on the Kraken on the puck line. They're at minus 280 right now. They opened up right there. I can understand somebody saying, not a chance do I want to back a team with, who's lost 4 straight games, on a puck line is this big a favorite. Look, I get it. I just believe that you put your foot on the throat of the Blackhawks, and once in a while, it's going to hurt you. And it hurt us in that game against the Islanders. Now, I thought the Islanders were going to bounce back. I also thought that they were going to hold the under was going to catch. Look, it's going to happen. So these aren't going to happen. You're not going to hit at 100% with these spots. But I think that the Blackhawks lose here. I think they struggle to score. The Kraken have to win. They just had that 9-game winning streak collapse, and it really is collapsed. And I just feel like there's so much more. There's a huge reason for them to step up here. And I expect them to do just that against a bad hockey team. So I'm on the Kraken minus 1.5 at plus 101. And I'm on the under 5.5 minus 105. The last time I bet this, it cashed. And I stated again that when I started, people said, you can't take puck lines in under 5.5. They don't correlate. And I said, watch me cash them. And my ROI on the puck line and an under 5.5 is healthy. And I'm not afraid to bet them. Take it away, CMac, Blackhawks, Kraken.
Well, because Jimmy, you're taking in something that's just been working. Like when a team is hard to score 2 goals, when they get shut out or won, it seems like the last 15 to 20 games. It's just like I think those can cash. I don't think it's a regular move to take, but in certain spots it definitely will work. This Kraken team having to figure out awful to start the year. Then you talk about rip off those 8-9 wins, and they've lost 4 in a row. Desperately need a win here at home. I was with you at cash the next day. We should have had that last Wednesday, the under with the Blackhawks. And you just mentioned it went over in that Islanders game. That didn't bother me one bit. Like they scored a few goals. Is right back to the under. All I want here, you hit on it here, Jimmy, was I don't mind Grubauer. I want the core in that. It's like if all I get is he's in, I'm really on the under. I already like it, but just confirm him. I really love it. I'll be on it here.
Okay, so and then let us know. Just hit me with a tweet.
Yeah, if he comes in while the show's on, I'm on it. So just put me in. I'll let you know.
All right, beautiful. So I'm on Kraken -1.5 and the under 5.5. Let's move on to 10:30 p.m. Eastern. This made no sense. This total that came out, and it was still available this morning. It hadn't been. Now it's since moved, but I could not understand it. In any other sport, that would be a red flag. I would say, look, I don't get this, and I will get off of it. And over the last few years on totals, when I've destroyed the market move, I have a negative ROI. So that's all important to know here in this spot. But this coming out at 6.5 was mind-boggling. Now, you could say, well, Luokkanen was in last night and Devin Levi is going to be in this night. You could say that Riddick has been much better than Talbot, and maybe Talbot's in tonight. Still, I could not comprehend that this would be a 6.5 for the life of me. I just could not understand it. So I bet it under 6.5 at -115, and that was still available when I woke up. Now it's an under 6 at +100, so it's moved a half goal down. But I couldn't comprehend it. From a money line standpoint, here we have the Kings at -182. They opened up at -205. There's been a 15-cent move towards the Buffalo Sabres. Another point here where, look, how could you possibly want to back the Kings on a -1 line as a big favorite when they've been playing as poorly as they have? They're coming off their third loss in 4 games, 4-3 in the shootout at home to the Sharks on Monday. This is all legitimate statements. I don't know what the Kings are anymore. When I read their stats, they have the best penalty killing in the league. You know, they're big. They have 2 guys who are 6'5" on their first line in Kopitar and Byfield. And yet, you know, they're losing hockey games. I can't explain that. And I've lost a lot of money on them. And I'm still going back to the well, and we'll see if this blows up in my face or not. But I took the under 6.5 -115. I'm on the Kings -1. Sabres on the second half back-to-back after suffering their second straight loss, 4-2 with the Ducks last night. They got outplayed by the Ducks badly at times. They outshot 36-30. And when I was already moved on the Kings, I said the best thing for me would be if the Sabres come back. You know, I don't want them to get completely dominated. And they did. They came back, made it 4-2. So I'm on the under 6.5 -115. I'm on the Kings -1 at -126. This is the final game of our NHL breakdown. The horse race will commence right after this game. If you want in, it's $50 horse race every Wednesday and Friday, a 2.5-hour race. If you want in, become a gold member right now. Take it away for us here, CMac. Final game on the board, Sabres Kings.
Become gold. I think it's just what, $4 more, $5 more. Get on the horse race. I talked about it, Jimmy. You know, I think it will pay off. But yeah, these couple times a week, I think you're probably going to win. You know, you'll get your money back. So become a gold freaking member. All right, let's get to it. Kings. It's been hard. You know, you talking about just figure out because you just ripped through. Because I love, you know, Kopitar, Kempe, Moore, Byfield, Pierre-Luc Dubois on the wing. It's just, I love this Kings team. They were just so red hot. Obviously, red hot on the road. Haven't been the same at home. I like the under 2 here. I mean, the Sabres kind of took care of business against the Sharks. They beat the Blackhawks. They lose to Tampa 3-1, and then they lose last night. 4-2 to the Ducks. They just haven't been able to score. I know Tate Shop's been back to help them out, but they just haven't been one of these teams that seems like they put 4 or 5 goals up, right? So even it doesn't seem like the Kings could run away with it. They haven't a ton at home. So I agree. I think we could get like a 3-2 game, 4-1 type game here. And you said there's no 6.5s?
I could look. I just went right to 365. Let me see.
I mean, I like the plus money even at the 6, the under. I just wanted to look here.
Plus a hundo. There's an under 6.5 at -119 at Heritage, and over at Pinnacle, over at Pinnacle. Oh wow! Did they just? Oh, here we go. Sorry, the 6. Oh shit! My bad. Sorry, the 6.5 is -129. Wow! So you're getting 10 cents better at Heritage right now. Wow.
Give me that.
All right. So CMac is moving on the under 6.5 at -119. All right. Locked in. That is our NHL breakdown. Let's review all NHL action before we get into best bets here for Conor Mac. Jose, I need you to call the beginning of the race. So could you join me because I need to set up for college basketball? So let's bring on our guy, Jose Sweet Tea Tits Bouquet, to the telecast. Jose, it's great to see you. How are you, my friend?
Doing well. I really like the horse noise button that you purchased recently. It's really authentic.
Exciting. It's very, very exciting. And by the way, Slatsy says the under 6.5 is -115 at DraftKings. That's wild. So that's 14 cents better. 14 cents better than what Pinnacle is at right now. So if anybody likes it and has DraftKings, move on that. This is a review of action here for us. CMac coming off excellent performance last Wednesday here on the show. He's on the Bruins -1. I'm on the Bruins -1. He's on the over 6 in Capitals Avalanche. I'm on the Canucks puck line. I'm on the Kraken puck line and the under 5.5. CMac, if the court is in net, will take the under 5.5 and they'll tweet it out. Kings -1 and the under 6.5 for me. And CMac is on the under 6.5. And it is time for Jose to take over the beginning of the horse race while I set up for CMac's college basketball.
Do your thing, Jimmy. I would like to tell Connor, as the second place person in our confidence pool, I have officially decided that I'll be on the Ravens and the 49ers. I'll just take both favorites. I'll be square as fuck, as Truth Teller says.
You said that you're second, but in truth, you're first. Isn't that right?
Am I? I don't know. I think I'm in second, actually. But,
Not
I do.
in
If I win out,
but in the amount of points lost.
Yeah, if I win out, I'm glorious. But yeah, I have a 5. I think I have an 8 and a 9 left. So I'll be using my 5 on the Ravens, my 9 on the 49ers, just to let you guys know as the leader. And I already submitted my picks, so they're not going to be lost today. But yes, I will admit that Truth Teller's bravado and brashness has put me on the Ravens.
We had it last night too. Remember the guy last night on the show? These guys who love the Chiefs are just like screaming it from the rooftop because they've cashed for 2 weeks in a row.
And I get it. It's hard to bet against Mahomes, and I didn't want to do it. I told Preston earlier the week, actually, I was like, I think I'm going to take the Chiefs and the Lions, and now I've completely flipped both sides. So, yeah, I do think that Lions game is going to be close, but whatever. And by the way, another thing, I'm also going to be on the Blackhawks under. We said we have to bet that every day, so I'm going to bet that post haste.
And it's been insanely profitable since that declaration was made.
Yes. It's funny. I've only bet it once, and of course, it was the one that lost. But we're betting it tonight. We got to ride.
That's just classic Jose.
Yeah, no, Connor. Let me tell you, me and my friends, we do a parlay every weekend, 6 legs. We hit once in 2 years. This year we hit twice. I was not on either one of them because I'm a fucking skunk. So that's how it goes, Connor. That's how that goes. But enough about me. I gave you guys some bullshit time to get your damn membership in. PSR Gold. It's a great time, and it's especially a great time on Wednesdays. Connor, I know you love a good horse race, and God damn it, we're running these horses the entire show. Because we don't limit our athletes, Jimmy. The jockeys nowadays, they're limiting their horses to only like 36 poles or whatever it is. We let our horses run forever. And God damn it, they will today. 2.5 hours. That is how I'm guessing this show's about to be. So shout out to everyone that's a member. We appreciate you guys. And just remember, here, Rubbin is racing. And we're off in San Antonio. The great music allowed as well. God damn, I love that music, even though I mute it now. But it's a beautiful time, and it's going to be a fun time to watch these equine athletes run out there. 2.5 hours of horse racing action here at Pub Sports Radio. But look at this. We already have early leads. 2 Kongs clips. Nasty Nate going to blow his load in the first minute of a 2-hour race. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen here? It's going to be a fun one to come in and check back and see who is leading this race. $50 on the line here at Retama Racetrack.
Oh, speaking of Retama, I can't wait for Sunday at Pubapalooza when we are all there. All right, that is the race. The race is up. It is Big Show with a slight lead. Sharon Pulliam in second. Iron Eagle has busted into the front alongside Ricky Levine. We will check back in throughout the
What's wrong with my horse? He's dragging ass in the back. Well, it's early. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, come on, Connor. You don't want to blow your load. We've got
2.5 hours.
28 minutes.
Take the time, baby.
Yeah, it's
take
perfect.
The time.
This is perfect. Perfect. Nasty Nate doesn't like Jose talking about his load. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a fair statement from Nasty Nate, a very legitimate statement from Nasty Nate. All right, let's roll on to college basketball with CMac, fresh off a 3-0 performance last week. Not only that, but it really was a 4-0 performance. There was one spot, I believe, was it the Virginia spot? I think that he got a 2.5. It was available at 4. He didn't move on it, but a lot of us still did and cashed comfortably. So it really was a sort of a 4-0 day, but 3-0 performance from CMac. Let's get right to work. CMac, we start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The number 8 ranked Auburn Tigers, 16-2, 5-0 in the SEC at the Alabama Crimson Tide, 12-6, 4-1 in the SEC, Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And I have not bet since Friday. I was a half point away from 6-1. We got 5-2. So I'm sticking to the plan to only bet college basketball when I cap it with everybody, and it's been working. So stick with it. Don't mess with it. That's what I've done. Auburn in a winning streak, and Alabama had a winning streak, but all of Auburn in the throes of a very, very legit 11-game winning streak. They come off a home performance versus Ole Miss that was dominant, 82-59. Their last road games, they beat Vanderbilt by 15. They beat Texas A&M. Oh, excuse me. They beat Arkansas by 32. Then now that's it. That's it though. There's just 2 road games here in this winning streak. Their actual last loss was on the road. It was at App State. So, but impressive wins over Arkansas and Vanderbilt. Alabama had their winning streak snapped on Saturday. Both teams played on Saturday. They lost badly at Tennessee, 91-71, and are probably an angry group. They shot 19% from 3. They were 5.5-point dogs, and they got dominated throughout. I mean, it was just a no-show. They were down 13 at the break. That is the situation. Let's get into the line history here for this one and the cash flow, and then hand it over to CMac for best bet number 1. We have from too many games is going to be a problem. I got to get faster this. So from a point spread situation, where's the 8 on Auburn? There we go. We have Auburn sitting right now as 3.5-point dogs. We're going to use Bet Online for our market moves. Don't forget, if you're opening up a new account, do it at Bet Online through our link on our website. They will give you a 100% match up to $1,000. And our next poker game is Friday, February 2nd. Friday night, February 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern. This opened up at Bet Online with Auburn at +2. Within 10 minutes, they were 2.5. An hour and a half after that, they were 3. Then they dropped down to 2.5 again. But they're sitting right now at 3.5, and it is juiced Auburn. So we have, it's juiced Auburn, but we had a 1.5 move towards Alabama at home after that ugly performance against Tennessee. From a total standpoint here, we are dealing with a 162, a very high total, but it opened higher. It opened up at 164.5. So we have and it got down to 161.5 before there was a bit of buyback. So we have a move to the under as well as a move towards Alabama at home. So let's take a look at the cash flow then for this spot here. Come on, please, for the love of... Okay, sorry. It's just so many games here. I'll have this better set up for these future games that we have here. Come on, Jesus. I'm going to find it. It will take me a second, but let's get right to... it's because it was 7:30 start. Sorry. Sky Dragon, you just have to click on what happened last week. So on the site, you just click over to divisional round. Click over to wild card round. And then you see, click over wild card or divisional. Set up pretty good. 83% and 93% of the cash. Wow, damn. I was hoping that was less. 83% of the tickets and 93% of the cash is on Alabama. Lines moving towards them. Then 38% of tickets and 77% of cash is on the under. Take it away for us, CMac, your first game on the board. Auburn, Alabama.
Yeah, let's hit the total real quick. This is a high total. I'm not going to mess with it. Both these teams can score, especially with Bama at home. Auburn's been very, very good. I think a lot of people, Jimmy, are going to see this team, number 8 in the country, 16-2, kind of just rolling through. But I think this is where they get stopped here. They take an L in this one. I've seen it time in, time out. They've had some good records before. And a lot of these games, true road game, they've had a few neutrals. They did lose at App State early, 69-64. But these last couple, I think, are a little bit – these teams aren't bad, but Arkansas is not good. We've all figured that out. They're not very good. Even at home, they blew them out. At Vandy, Vandy's not very good. Home wins versus LSU. Ole Miss, I thought, were excellent. They were great at home. But I want Bama in this spot, minus the 3.5. I love it off the loss. I faded them on Saturday. I had Tennessee with the easy 20-point victory. I think they bounce back here in a desperate win they need at home in conference play. Give me the Tide. Roll Tide.
My bookie still hanging a 3.
What's the juice?
Minus 110.
Beautiful.
Alabama minus 3 at minus 110. Let me just click on it just to ensure that it's not a stale. Yeah, it's it actually came back. It came back 11 minutes ago. This was a 3.5. It came back 11 minutes ago to a 3. I like it. You are locked in. Alabama minus 3 for CMac.
Jimmy, real quick, too, which I always love, short number, laying at home. Bama, not great defensively, but they shoot the 3 well, 39%, 16 in the country. And one of my favorites, laying points, 78% from the free throw line, 9th in the country. That's why I'm on it, too.
Yeah, it's there's a lot to like. The only thing that there's only one thing that I don't love for it all to correlate, and that's just how much action is on them.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're right. It's absolutely perfect. Coming off the loss, angry group against a team that has a great record, but only 2 of those 11 wins that they're on the streak have come on the road. So a lot of it correlates. Let's move on to the next spot on the board for CMac Game 2. East Carolina Pirates, Wichita State Shockers. Nicholas Earls, East Carolina Pirates, losers of 3 straight basketball games. They played on Saturday. Wichita State played on Sunday. On Saturday, East Carolina lost at UAB 69-61. 4.5-point dogs. Didn't shoot the ball well, as being their issue this year. 36.7% from the field in the loss, and they lose by 8. And they're still on the road here against the Wichita State team that's in the throes of an ugly losing streak. Wichita State has now lost 7 straight games. And, man, they, after South Florida looked so good against Memphis, Wichita State went into South Florida as 4.5-point dogs and covered and almost won. And they shot 10.5% from 3 and almost won. They were covering the first half. It was, that famous spot of fading the team after a season-defining win, and you would have cashed had you have done that. So that's the situation here. Wichita State in the throes of a losing streak, 7 straight. with a one-day rest advantage for East Carolina. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We are sitting here with the same spread, pretty much, just a half point different than our first game. We are sitting here with a 3. Wichita State 3-point favorites. They opened up as 4.5-point favorites. We've had a 1.5 move towards East Carolina. 1.5 move towards East Carolina. From a total standpoint, we're sitting here with a 146 minus 115 of the over. It's opened up at 145. We have a 1-point move towards the over. And when we get into the cash flow for this spot, we have no information on the total, not enough tickets in, and on the spread, 39% of the tickets and 91% of the cash on the East Carolina Pirates. Interesting. Take it away for a CMac Pirates Shockers.
I think East Carolina, let's talk about the side, can hang a little bit in this. It's short. I wish the game was a point or two, and they were 3.5-point dogs last week. They covered, Jimmy. I thought it was just a little bit low, but hey, it got there. Now they're on the road. One thing I love with this East Carolina team, slow, have trouble scoring. They're 11-7 to the under this year. And their last 10 games, only one total has gone over this number here, Jimmy, at 146. They're going to drag this slow. Look at these numbers. They shoot 40%. Field goal percentage, 277. There's 31% from 3. That's 300th in the country. 69 at the free throw line. On the flip side, Wichita State, I think this is a little skewed. They played a little bit more to the over, Jimmy, but there's really 2 games, Memphis and FAU, which we'll get to FAU coming up next, where these teams are just wildly over. But you look at a lot of their other games, they could play to the under and slow it down, whether it's K-State, all these teams, Temple, North Texas even would stand this number, 74-62. This was 3-4 points too high. I got to be on the under here, 146.
You got it under 146 at -1.
Real quick, they shoot it just as bad, Jimmy, Wichita. They're not very good. 31% from 3, 67% for the free throw line. This total's too high. This is under.
You've got it locked in. I know that we want to focus on college basketball, but when Truth Teller says that every single point is pointing towards the Ravens, it's really astonishing. The Chiefs are, and Mahomes is 8-0-1 against the spread as a road dog. 8-0-1. Lamar Jackson's only won 2 of 5 playoff games. You have the best quarterback in the world who covers every game on the road going up against the quarterback who's never proved anything ever. There's so many points for your Chiefs, Truth Teller, and it's fun that you're confident. Dragging Troy, who's been such a star this year in his NFL scorecasting, calling him out and stuff like that. It's not. I don't like that part of it, but everything else, you being so bullish on the Chiefs, is fun. It's great, and you can do that without dragging other people down. You could do that just talking about your angles and what you like about it, if you'd like. But you can do however you want to see it. But huge angles supporting the Chiefs. Huge. Okay, let's roll into our next spot here. But I'm fading them. But it's going to be fun. And Truth Teller, we have the live stream too, so you can tell us how right you are during the game. You can tell us what idiots we are during the game, and that's part of the fun about our live stream. And we're not going against each other, so we don't need to hammer each other. It's against the books. And if you think that Troy and I are falling into a trap with the Ravens, that's part of the fun of capping. Okay, let's move on. 8 p.m. Eastern, we have the number 22 ranked Florida Atlantic Owls. We have the Battle of the Owls, 15-4, 5-1 in the American at the Rice Owls, 7-11, 1-4 in the American. We're in Houston, Texas for this one. Let's get into the rest situation first and foremost. FAU played on Sunday, a wild overtime game at UTSA. They won 112-103, their 4th straight victory. And Rice stopped the bleeding at Temple, 69-66 on Saturday. They were in the throes of a losing streak. let's get into the line history here for this one and then see what CMac's plan is. Florida Atlantic right now on the road, 12-point favorites. This opened up at minus 12.5, and it's moved a half point to 12, so very little movement from a total side of things here. We have a 152. This opened up at 152. It went up to 153 a couple different times, but it's right back from where it started. And then when we get into the cash flow for this one, we have 60% of the tickets on FAU, but just 20% of the cash. And then from a total side of things here, we have 60% of tickets and 79% of cash on the over. An over that's not moved. Take it away for us here, CMac, a Battle of the Owls at Tudor Fieldhouse in Houston, Texas.
Battle of the Owls. Yes, I like it. I was looking at this last night. FAU is just a team that I haven't backed a ton, especially against the number. They kind of hit a flat spot here in the middle of the year. Now back to one thing that couldn't get over going through this game is I know how bad Rice's defense is. They're not very good. Yes, they're at home here, and I think they could hang around scoring on FAU. But FAU's offense, and their pace is just way too quick. Jimmy, they're just going to be going up and down through the roof. I loved what I'm going to here. Instead of laying the number, well, I think the full game could get over with Rice because I don't love FAU's defense. I saw their team total at 82.5. I got to be on this over. I know that last game, UTSA and Rice are so similar, even their record and all their numbers. That game went to OT, still would have flew over the 82. They had 86, Wichita 86, UAB 85, Tulane. As long as this didn't move up to 83 or anything, at 82.5, Florida Atlantic team total over.
I am interested in, and it may be a mistake, but things enough correlates here for me to look at Rice as a double-digit.
Yeah, I get it.
Dog here.
I'm not going to lay the points with FAU. I just think they get to 85 here with a C effort, I think.
Wow, this plus 12 too is minus 118 at Pinnacle. So it's not really even, I mean, this is going to be an 11.5 any minute. The total, I can get you an 82.5 team total over at even money.
Beautiful.
All right. That's available at Pinnacle right now. So CMac is on FAU team total over 82.5 at plus 100. And my first spot on the board here will be Rice. I'll be on the Rice Owls to cover. Let's move on. 11 p.m. Eastern. Colorado Buffaloes 14-5, 5-3 in the Pac-12 at the Washington Huskies. 11-8, 3-5 in the Pac-12. Alaska Airlines Arena in Seattle, Washington for this one. And we will check in on the horse race here right after in between guests. That's what we'll do is each time we are in between guests, we will take a look at what is going on in the horse race. Let's talk about the final spot on the board for CMac, fresh off sweeping the board when he was with us last Wednesday in both college basketball and NHL. We have Colorado on the road at Washington. Colorado now winners of 3 straight, but they were all at home. We watched them struggle on the road. The losses just previous to the 3-game winning streak over USC, Oregon State. They lose 82-78 at Cal. They lost 76-73 at Arizona State. Going up against Washington, who's back at home, where they've been good. They were on a 3-game road trip. They lost at UCLA by 12. It was ugly. They beat Cal by 2, and then they lost by 10 at Stanford on Saturday. So Colorado also coming off destroying Oregon State. I mean, we're talking annihilating them by 33 points here. So let's take a look at the line history here for this one. This is the final spot on the board for CMac. We have, here we go. We have right now a Washington plus 2.5 at minus 103. They opened up at plus 1.5. This got up to plus 3.5. So clear move towards Colorado here. It's come back a bit, but pretty legit off the hop. And then from a total side of things, we're sitting at a 156. This opened up at 155.5, got up to 157, now at 155.5. And then when we get into the cash flow for the final spot on the board, this is our DGen special at 11 p.m. There also is New Mexico, San Jose State at this time. 90% of the tickets and 96% of the cash is on the over. And from a spread perspective, we have 29% of the tickets and 61% of the cash on Colorado. So big bets have come in on Colorado. Take it away for us here, CMac, your final spot on the board, Buffalo's Huskies.
Yeah, they seem to think Colorado's going to get a win here on the road. I don't buy it. I've seen this Colorado team do this year in and year out. I believe last year they did beat Washington here by about 5 points. But now you're saying you got to go in there and win, but not just win by margin here by 4 or more. I can't do it. Everything that shows Colorado, once they leave Colorado, high altitude and go on the road, Jimmy, they've just not been the same team. Just their shooting, their defense. As you know, that road trip that they just had, lost all 3. Arizona got blown out by 37. They lost at Arizona State and Cal. 2 all right teams at home, but not great. And everyone's loving it because Colorado, red hot, 3 straight wins at home, Jimmy. Wow, Colorado's back playing good basketball. And they see Washington with a couple losses. Even Washington on the road's been pretty good this year, Jimmy, and covered some numbers. You know, even on the Utah trip, they lost by 4 to at Colorado, 5 at Utah. They covered those numbers. They've been good enough at home, and they make enough shots here. So Washington Huskies +3, late night special. They probably even went outright.
You know, you did this so well with Southern Miss. Arizona State, this was last week. Arizona State, or Arkansas State, excuse me. Arkansas State went from dog to favorite, which obviously opens up all our eyes. And you moved on Southern Miss +3. They won outright by 3. And you're doing it again here. Is there a 3.5 available? Because from a situational spot, I agree with you completely. I'm just nervous and scared. The best I can find you is a 3 here at +3 and -110. Can you find a 3.5?
I can't find a 3.5.
So +3 for Washington. I got to keep an eye on these takes from you when you're going up against this perceived sharp action because it worked in that Southern Miss. And that's when I messaged you about how good you were. It wasn't only that you swept the board, but you got me on that Utah spot. You got me off of Arkansas State spot. It was just all-encompassing, excellent work. Let's review CMac's action here. Alabama -3 at -110. The under 46 at -105 in East Carolina, Wichita State. FAU team total over 82.5 at +100. And Washington +3 at -110. That is CMac's action. CMac, excellent work. You can catch CMac every Tuesday on the Peter Loshak Show. That will continue when I return to the show. I am returning to Loshak and Bag, not next Tuesday, but the one after. CMac will still do NBA and college basketball on Tuesdays with us, and he'll be doing college basketball with me on Wednesdays. And you can catch him every Saturday as well on our college basketball live stream. CMac, excellent work, my friend. Please follow CMac on X at Conor Mac Picks. Any last words for the Cappers supporting the show, CMac?
Oh, thanks for having me. I love these Wednesdays. I wish the hockey games are a little bit better, but I'm glad we had some games today. So usually we only have a couple on a Wednesday. But shout out to everyone in the chat. Truth Teller, Nuke Worker, Kelly, Troy, keep killing it, my man. Billy Friedrich, Talk Sports with JT, Ian, Lucas, Kelly, everyone in here. Perky Bumps Anderson, Justin. Shout out to all you guys. Best chat out there, period. Hands down, Post Source Radio. Become a gold member. Get in the race. Well, they'll be in the next race, right? They're out of this one.
In the next race, yeah.
Friday. Get in, get it. Thanks for having me. Peace.
Respect. There he is, Conor Mac Picks. Let's take a look at the horse race right now. We have 2 hours and 6 minutes left. It is tight. Chris Boggin in that top group with Dutch Boy Fresh. There's Nut Flush Allen as well. CMac was up there while he was on camera, but falling back. And, you got 2 hours to sit back and relax. But Jeff Slaughter making an early move for Jeff Slaughter. That's where we stand. We'll check it again when we're past our next guest. Let's bring on our next guest. He has been very strong in college basketball on our show, and that includes leaving money on the table. Billy Friedrich upset says, "Where the fuck is my horse?" Let's pull that up once more. Jose, where the fuck is Billy? Billy, you're right there. You're right there in the lead, man. Stay calm, pal. Stay calm. You have 2 hours and 5 minutes left. Stay calm. All right. We have our next guest, 25-19, and that's with him, kind of holding back on some double up spots that would have cashed. He's hitting at 56.8% plus 4.12 units, ROI plus 9.36%, average line minus 110. Please welcome from Dallas, Texas, the star of Medicate Mondays and our big Wednesday night live basketball betting show, all about the hoops, that pops off right here at 7:15 p.m. Eastern. Please welcome our friend Daby Cab to the show. Daby, how are you?
Jimmy, I'm good, man. I see we got all the homies in the chat. Justin, Kelly, Billy, everybody rolling in, man. You know how it is. I'm ready to make some money. Yeah, I'm ready to make some fucking money today, Jimmy. That's what we're here to do, man.
That's exactly what we're here to do. I'm setting this up for you. How did last night go?
0-1 last night. So not great last night, but I got back over double digits on the season. So I'm just over 11 units right now on the season, which is not where I want to be, actually, to be honest. I'm a little frustrated with where I'm at, but it's going to grow. I got back into double digits last week and looking to push forward this week.
Well, let's do exactly that and push forward. Daby Cab has 2 spots on the board here. First one's at 7 p.m. Eastern. The Miami Hurricanes, 12-6, 3-4 in the ACC. At the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, 7-11, 2-5 in the ACC. We're in South Bend for this one. Miami struggling right now. Losers of 4 of their last 5, coming off the 72-69 loss at Syracuse, which was on the heels of the 84-75 loss at home to FSU, which was a surprise loss there. So not playing good basketball. Coming in against Notre Dame with the exact same record over the last 5 games, 1-4, just an overtime win at Georgia Tech to show for it. They also lost at home to Florida State. They're coming off a loss at Boston College here, 63-59, but that was what last God, when was the 15th? Jesus Christ, 9 days ago. What's wrong with my math? That was last Monday. So they have not played in 9 days. Notre Dame not played in 9 days. I wonder how that affects the situation. Let's take a look at the line history here for the first game on the board for Daby Cab. He has tweeted out his action for both of these spots. You need to follow him on X. We have Miami sitting right now as 4.5 favorites, -4.5 and -112. They opened up at -4. They're now -4.5. So a half-point move towards the U. We have the total at 140, juice to the over. This opened up at 138.5. So we're kind of climbing up. And then when we get to the cash flow here for the first big game, we do have LSU Georgia at 6:30, but for a big game on the board here, we have, come on, show me. There we go. 26% of the tickets, but 65% of the cash on Notre Dame. So 74% of tickets, but just 35% of cash on Miami. It has moved a half point in their favor. From a total side, we have 31% of tickets and 92% of cash on the over. 35 and 92 on the over. And it's climbed 2 points or 1.5 depending on where you shop following that sharp action. Take it away for us here, Cab. ACC action, Hurricanes Fighting Irish.
So all the money's on Notre Dame, and it moved a little bit towards Miami, huh? That's not all the money, but a lot of it, right? Miami came into the season ranked 13th, and that was after making that Final Four trip last season. They had 3 top contributors that returned to the team. They added Cleveland, the high-profile transfer from Florida State, but just flat out haven't played up to expectations. They've fallen out of the top 25. They recently, you talked about the losses. They had a loss to Louisville in there where they were 16.5-point favorites, and they fell to Louisville. And right now they're on a 2-game streak. They lost to Florida State. They lost to Syracuse. That last game against Syracuse was a very good game. Miami still covered the 3.5. They were 3.5-point dogs. They lost by 3, if I'm not mistaken. Because they still have a very strong offense. They have 4 players averaging over 14 points per game. Omier, their leading scorer, the 6'7" forward, averaging 17.2 points per game. He is actually questionable in this spot. He's a physical post player that I'd like to have here. But, we look across this Miami team. Scoring is not the issue. The issue with this team has been on the defensive side of the ball. And that's where this comes in for Notre Dame here. I just think this is, as far as styles go, as far as basketball styles go, and my favorite thing to bet is when I have the feeling that I have on this game. I do not think that Notre Dame matches up with Miami at all. I think this is a nightmare style matchup for Notre Dame because Notre Dame relies on their defense to get stops and carry them to victory flat out. But like I said, as bad as Miami's been, as much as a letdown that they've had, they're still one of the top offenses in the country, or in the conference at least. They're 36th in the nation in offensive efficiency. And like I said, I know Notre Dame on defense. Notre Dame's 43rd on defense, and they're going to try and limit Miami's scoring. They're going to try and slow the pace of this game down, but I don't think it's going to work. Even without Amir in the game, I think Miami's going to be able to push the pace. And I don't think Notre Dame has the athletes to keep up with Cleveland, Pilar, Pack on the outside. I think Miami's going to use their size on the perimeter to find easy looks, both at the basket and from deep. If you look at the Irish, they have not, in 4 of their last 5 games, they haven't got to 60 points. And I'm telling you right fucking now, that will not work against Miami. If you put up 58, 60 points against Miami, you're losing by 10, 12, 13 points. Because like you look at Miami, they've put up over 70 points in their last 9 games. And I just don't think that's a pace that Notre Dame can keep up with. Notre Dame's offense is terrible. I mean, they're in the 300s. Just not a good offense. So I think this is a smash and grab spot for Miami. Miami's on the outside looking in right now. They want to get back to the tournament. Their season's not over yet. They've had a shit season. It's been a huge letdown, but it's not over. And this is a smash spot where I think they come out running and take Notre Dame down. I like Miami here a lot.
Miami first half -1.5 at -110. Miami -4 at -108. Both tweeted out by our Daby Cab last night. Bullish on the Hurricanes at Notre Dame. Let's move on to the final spot on the board for Daby Cab, and it correlates with our Justin McKelvey stack play of the day. He's on Northwestern +3.5. That is the stacks play today from Justin McKelvey. Also, we were given BJ's best bet in NBA. I've copied and pasted it. It is the Dallas Mavericks money line. We will discuss it here when we get into NBA with Dutch Boy Fresh. That is Daby's co-host on tonight's big live betting show, all about the hoops, college basketball, and NBA live betting show. We have the number 10 ranked Illinois Fighting Illini, 14-4, 5-2 in the Big Ten at Northwestern Wildcats, 13-5, 4-3 in the Big Ten. We're at Welsh Ryan Arena in Edmonton, Illinois, and Terrence Shannon returned his first game back after the judge's ruling allowed him to rejoin the number 14 ranked Illinois Fighting Illini. He went for 16 points. They won 86-63 over Rutgers on Sunday, and they looked complete, and they talked about feeling complete. Second straight win, but they're a different team clearly with Shannon in it. And Northwestern's lost 2 of 3. They played on Saturday. They lost at Nebraska. They've been winning at home and losing on the road. Now, we also watched them lose to Cleveland State at home, so let's not get too caught up in it. But they played it was such a strange game against Nebraska. Nebraska shot 55.8% from 3, 53.8 from 3, 55.3 from the field, but they turned the ball over 18 times. So Northwestern really did very little right except play clean basketball. They got terribly out-rebounded, 40-26. They got outshot, but they played clean basketball and still didn't cover the 3.5 points. I mean, I still didn't cover. I mean, of course they didn't cover if they're only going to be successful with not turning the ball over, losing in every other facet. All right, let's talk about D-line history here for this one. This one pops off at 9 p.m. Eastern. We have Illinois right now as 3-point favorites. They opened up as 4-point favorites. This got up to 4.5, and it dropped as low as 2.5 this morning at BetOnline. So still at this point, we have a 1-point move towards Northwestern. From a total side of things here, we are dealing with a 146.5. This opened up at 147, so we have a half-point move to the under. When we get into the cash flow for this spot. We have Mikey Money, started Pimp Slap Play today in the wings, coming up next. 30% of the tickets and 91% of the cash on the under. And from a spread perspective, 67% of the tickets and 77% of cash on Northwestern. The line has moved in their direction. Take it away, Daby Cab, Illinois, Northwestern.
Man, this is one of those spots, Jimmy, where it's like, I guess the sharp money is on Northwestern, the smart capper, I guess, whatever, however you want to call it. They're on Northwestern here, but I don't get it. I do think that this will be a closer game than the first matchup, but the first time these teams met just over a month ago, it was a 30-point loss for Northwestern. They were absolutely demolished. And they were demolished. You talked about it. Northwestern, what they try and do is play clean basketball and slow the pace of the game down. That's what they do. But against a team like Illinois, who is one of the best rebounding teams in the country, it's extremely hard to slow the pace down because the pace is dictated off of that defensive board, right? And Illinois is going to get up and down the court and up and down the court. And just like I was talking about for Notre Dame, I just think matchup-wise, this is a nightmare for Northwestern. I don't think they lost by 30 points last game against Illinois because they played like shit. I think they lost by 30 points because that's how outmatched they are against this Illinois team. And the fact that I was able to get a bucket and a half in the first half with Illinois, I just couldn't look away. And maybe I'm taking huge bait here, but you look at this Wildcats team, they're 78th in field goal percentage, 63rd in three-point shooting. They're 138 in threes made. So they're just a little above average on everything, but it's on the defensive end of the court. They're 66 in scoring defense. But they're only 222nd in field goal defense and 298th in three-point defense, which is going to be a huge hole here against Illinois. This is a rivalry game, and I think, like I said, Illinois has a major edge on the glass in this game, which is going to help them set the pace. I can't say it enough how important against a team like Northwestern or, Notre Dame or one of these teams that's going to really slow it down. Dictating the pace means everything. Because Northwestern, they're going to want to play this at a snail's pace. But Illinois is going to speed it up. They're going to attack the glass. They're going to get out and running. Illinois is 23rd in the nation in scoring offense. They shoot the ball very well. They're ranked 58 in field goal percentage. And they're equally as tough on the defensive end. A lot of these teams, you see a drop-off. Illinois is outstanding on defense. They're 11th in field goal defense. And that's it. The only thing that I'd give Northwestern the edge on is ball security. They protect the ball well, and you said that. They play clean basketball. I don't think that's going to be enough here. Illinois won by 30 the first game. Wildcats, they did only shoot 30% from the field in that game. But like I said, this Illinois defense is electric. I think Illinois limits their turnovers here. I think they dominate on the glass. And I think they win this game, and I think they cover the spread and change the narrative about ranked teams on the road. So I like Illinois here, first half.
First half -1.5 and -110. Why did you focus on the first half instead of the full game? I know that you primarily like to bet that, but there's got to be, a plan behind it. What was it here?
There's always things on the road. A lot of times you'll see me in the first half, and here with Illinois, you're giving me under, like, I need one bucket. If I'm up by 2 points, I win. And I think Illinois is just that much better than Northwestern. You're giving me a bucket. I can't turn it down. And I'd rather go in the first half than full game if I'm going on the road, especially in an environment like this. This is a rivalry game. This place is going to be electric. Anything can happen. But you're talking about, 20 minutes of basketball here, and I need Illinois to be up by 2 points. I'll take it.
I feel you. Go get that cash, Daby Cab. Illinois first half -1.5 and -110, and then he has the Miami Hurricanes double up. First half -1.5, full game -4. Daby Cab, tell us a little bit about what's going to happen tonight on All About the Hoops.
Oh man, we've been cashing left and right all about the hoops tonight on Pub Sports Radio. Just get on your YouTube, tune in. I know you see me and my guy Dutch there, but we also have Billy. We have LJ with us. Our guy Pimp Slap Play of the Day, Mike M, that's about to come in, jumps on with us. And we have been cashing left and right, whether it's NBA, college basketball. We've been hitting our live bets, pregame bets. It's been a lot of fun. And I want to see you guys in there in the chat, so show up.
I love it. Respect and follow Daby Cab at Daby Cab. He tweets out all of his action. Daby Cab, go get that cash, and thank you for all of your great work here on the show. You can catch Daby Cab right here on Wednesdays and Thursdays, delivering college basketball glory to us. Let's bring on your next guest. He is the star of Last Call here on our show from Monday to Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. But first, actually, why don't we bring him on and we can look at the horse race together? But let's bring him on from the dirtiest of Chesters, Rochester, New York City. Please welcome, I should say New York State, really. Rochester, New York State. Please welcome our guy and yours, Mr. Mikey Money. How are you, Mikey?
What up, Jimmy? Let's go, baby. Let's go. We got 2.5 hour horse racing here. Jose said we like to keep those athletes going, but that's borderline abuse. Let's see what they got.
Yes. I'm going to have to tell I won't be able to pick up Ella because of the horse race is still on. So
I'm going to adjust the timer. I actually had the horse race freeze on me, but they're still running right now. We had some adjustments. Some jockeys changed colors mid-race, but that's okay because guess what? God damn it, they are still running, and God damn it, they look great. And Mike, it's not abuse. They love it, Mike. They love the action. They love the sweat, and so do we.
They love rocking for 2.5 hours at top speed with someone whipping their ass. It sounds good. Jimmy, shout out to this chat here. Billy Friedrich, EQ, Joey Marinacci there. AOD, Perky Bumps is in the house, man. Dave Burke, North Ender, Truth Teller. The gang showed up, man. They showed up. It's time to make some money.
Well, let's get after it. I think we're okay with the time we have up there. You don't need to touch it. We'll figure out the perfect amount of time. But 1 hour, 41 minutes, it's all good. It is all good at this point here, Jose. Let's get to work here, Mikey Money. You start at 7 p.m. Eastern. The James Madison Duke, 17-2, 5-2 in the Sun Belt at the Old Dominion Monarchs, 5-14, just 1-6 in the Sun Belt. We're in Norfolk, Virginia for this one. Let's take a look at the situation we have here. James Madison, winners of 2 straight and 3 of their last 4. All of those coming at home. They've struggled a bit on the road. They've only lost 2 games all year, but they lost their last road game to Southern Miss. So winning 3 of their last 4, winning by 15 at home versus Marshall last out, and beating UL Monroe, a bad basketball team, by 19 previously. That was on Thursday night and Saturday night, respectively. And Old Dominion couldn't beat UL Monroe. That's how bad Old Dominion is, and that happened at home, which is wild. They beat Marshall, destroyed them by 25 points, and then lose outright to UL Monroe on Saturday. What a horrific display here. They were 11.5-point favorites against UL Monroe. They were down 35-24 in the first half. I mean, just a horrific performance from the Monarchs. Let's take a look at the line history here for this spot on the board. It is the first spot on the board for our Mikey Money. We have James Madison, 7.5-point favorites at home. They opened up at 8, got up to 8.5, 7.5. They've been bouncing all over the place, but they're sitting right now at 7.5. So we have a half-point move towards this angry, disappointing Old Dominion group who showed they can play good basketball. You know, they're capable of playing a good basketball. From a total perspective, we are dealing with a 155. This opened up at 152. We've gone up 3 points. When we get into the cash flow here for this spot, we have, here we go. We have 26% of the tickets and 15% of the cash on Old Dominion. And the lines moved a half point in their favor. From a total here, we have no help and no information. Take it away for us here, Mikey Money, Dukes, Monarchs.
All over James Madison in this spot. I talked about these guys last week, and I said, this team just bludgeons you and demoralizes you to the point that you just lose interest in playing basketball. And, you know, you look kind of at the chemistry and the makeup of this team when it comes down to it. You know, you got their junior guy out there. Terrence Edwards leads the team. He's going out there 17.2 points a game. He's a rebounding machine as well. So he's taking shots. He's getting rebounds. He's playing back way. He's playing two-way game of basketball out there. What do they do as well? They go out because they know they're stepping up in competition. They bring in a Boston College transfer, TJ Bickerstaff. Now 10 rebounds as well in 5 of the last 7 games for this guy. So this team's just getting stronger. And they're starting to gel, which is a really dangerous spot for anybody else left on the schedule. You know, back at the end of the lineup here, they got their senior guard and Noah Friedel. 26 points for this guy out of that South Alabama game, and he's averaging 11.5 points a game. So at any given time, the talent on this team is just able to step up and put you out, put your lights right out in this spot here. You got a James Madison team, 12-6 against the spread on the season. You know, we talk about an offense here with a team like James Madison that clearly can go and just stomp all over everybody whenever they, 89 points against UL Monroe. Obviously, they had a tough spot there against Appalachian State. They throw up another 89 spot on, South Alabama as well. And, they overachieved the number. And I think that's the difference in this game here. When you've got a team in, Old Dominion, their big point guy offense or big scoring guy offensively is the guard, Vassie Nolette. And I don't think from a perspective, he's had a career high game there against Marshall with 27 points, but that's a freshman, and you got a big team coming in here that's going to pound on that glass. They're going to go out there and put up points. And I mentioned that, the Dukes can go out there and score at will. They're scoring 85.9 points a game, and it's 80.5 more points than what the Monarchs are allowing on the season. Monarchs are allowing 77.4 points per game out there. And I think that's trouble city for this team here, where you're going to have a team that puts you away defense. They're defensively, they're not ranked that great defensively, but they don't need to be because they're just so prolific on offense here. And, when it comes down to it, I think you run out of gas, you run out of you're tired of chasing those boys back on the other side of things after you miss a shot. Old Dominion's 3-7 against the spread and 3-8 overall when it scores more than 69 points. That to me is the deciding factor. We've got a team in James Madison that can score more than their average that the Monarchs allow. And we have a team that doesn't cover the spread if they go out there and score more than the average that they allow on the season. That's a bad recipe for a team that's won. Old Dominion, 26 of its last 27 night games have produced a total of 153 or fewer points out there. So they're in a spot where, they keep the score down because the other team's offense just can't keep up and compete with you. I don't know who the hell's looking at taking this Old Dominion team that this number is moving down. I'm not a firm believer in that bookie head fake because I'm not a big guy. We talk about this all the time, Jimmy. Where's the cash coming and how is the book reacting to it? This might be that classic example of the head fake where they're just trying to sucker people into trying to take on Old Dominion. What do you want to do taking on a team that's 5-14 and sucks against the spread, not good at home, just got bludgeoned by a UL Monroe team, and now you got James Madison? It's the other way around. When you play a James Madison team, you're supposed to get beat down the next time around because they drain you out. They wear your legs out. And they just come off that big loss against Monroe. I don't care if they're home or not. James Madison's going to literally put boots to ass and get this job done. 7.5, take it. Goes down to 6.5. I'll take it again.
That's wild because the market movement for this is exactly what if you were on Old Dominion, it's exactly what's been working for me so well. Is when the public is hammering one side, moves a half point away to the other side, and the team is coming off of an embarrassing loss. The thing is, it doesn't even matter if the line suggests there's an injury. It doesn't even matter because they have so many guys that can score in double digits and play defense that it's going to be hard for that Old Dominion team to hang on. I just don't see where it is in the cards. And this line should probably be 12 or 13, kind of like what that Marshall line was. But I think the fact that James Madison, I should say probably the better chance here is that UL Monroe lost so badly. They're kind of skewing. This line should just be the other direction as well. It just doesn't make sense to me. This line's a head scratcher. I've been cashing with James Madison. I'm not going to get in the way. This team capable of putting up 90 points at the snap of your fingers. And Old Dominion is not one of those teams that's capable of putting up 70 points at the snap of your fingers. So this could get ugly fast. Pinnacle's moved it to 7. So it looks like, wow, that's wild.
I don't understand. 7. I mean, I guess it's because they're on the road. Maybe that's the factor that goes into it, but I'm taking it. I'm running with these boys. We got to get back to neutral with this thing. And I think James Madison's a good spot to start the card off.
Wild. I'm going to have to spend more time with that spot here clearly, because it all correlates for me on the ugly pig and the pig demanding lipstick.
You put lipstick on it, you know what happens.
It's a beautiful pig. It's a gorgeous pig. Down to fuck. 7:30 p.m. Eastern, next spot on the board. We have already discussed this spot. You have heard one side of the fence, and that side is CMac on Alabama Crimson Tide. You are about to hear the other side of the fence. Mikey Money, take it away. Big clash in the SEC in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of being on the opposite side of CMac as a general principle in life. So, I respect what he's doing out there in the college game. I just think this is a spot where I got to be on the other side of this thing. And it's moved again. This one's moving. Now we're at +4. Look, 93% of the cash is all over Alabama. They love Alabama at home. And, what's not to love? Last year, they beat Auburn 2 times in a row. So, we're still sitting at 12-6 with this Alabama side of things. And, I think that the fact that you look at what Auburn's been doing this year, I don't want to get too cute with this thing. They lost that first game off the hop there against Baylor. They've got on a run since then. They're 8-1-1. Their last time they didn't cover the spread goes all the way back to before Christmas out there. Again, put them in a revenge spot. I know Alabama won 6 in a row. They covered 5, but then they got the shit kicked out of them against Tennessee. So the thing about this matchup for me, I heard CMac talking about the 3-pointers. Again, not happy to hear that he's on the other side of this thing, but what does Auburn do well? They get rebounds. So you miss those 3-pointers. Guess what happens? You're in a bad spot now because they just clean up your scrap for you. I think Bama shoots too many threes in this case. There's another game we're going to talk about that's a similar situation, but Auburn's defensive efficiency is 6th in college basketball. So plenty of opportunity out there. And what Auburn does well, they don't need to take those kind of Hail Mary 3-pointers out there. They shoot 43.7% from the floor. The thing that I like about Bama is the schedule advantage. It's a marginal advantage, though. They're 117 in national ranking and schedule to 158. So I get that. And I know Alabama 4-1 in SEC play, but I think that Tennessee team kind of overexposed what they've got going on out there. And, both teams score over 83 points a game. I know that's a big factor out there, but I think it's the Auburn defense that makes the difference in this thing. And I think we're going to see that shine through here. You look back at it, both teams are playing at an elite level right now. There's absolutely no question about it. But, when you look at this overall, here's the big number for you. When you got you're off an away loss and your opponent got the home win out there and and it's a ranked game, you're looking at a 3-13 spot as well. And here's the thing about these numbers. The average line we're seeing in those games where it's that team that's off the away loss, playing at home, is in a spot where their average line is almost 13 points. It's 12.9. Those teams are still losing in those games, 84-67. So I texted you earlier about this. It's the old double dipper spot for me. Auburn has won each of its last 12 night games as well, so they're not afraid to travel and play in the later schedule. I know it's on the road, and I get that Alabama and the home court advantage, but midweek I kind of mitigate a little bit of that because I think, these guys have a lot of things going on, a lot of responsibilities on the deck, and they're usually looking for the big TV exposure on the weekend. So I'll forego some of that, and I'll jump on that. Now I see the 4s. I see a +4 at -114 over at Bet Rivers. And it's the money line spot for me as well. I got a +143 at PointsBet.
Wow, what a fascinating look. Let me just see if I can beat. So I've got +145.
Perfect.
That beats it, right? And then
yep.
I can't beat the 4 at -140. I can get the 4 at -180.
It literally just moved to 4 right as I came on the show. So I'd imagine it's going to probably start to follow suit, but this is kind of that perfect fit for this model here. Again, the coming off the away loss, opponent, home, win. They're ranked. You're not. Your opponent shoots more than 30 field goals in the game. You're just not winning those spots out there. Your opponent's shooting well. They came off a home win. They're feeling good. You're coming back home. You're going to try to figure things out, and you're going to get your ass slapped. It's probably I don't know if it's going to be a double-digit blowout, but I certainly like Auburn to come out there and get the job done. I'll take the 4, and I'm going to take a little bit of that money line. Let's go.
You got it. Marcus McCarthy rolling with it as well. By the way, Morgan Spooner, I've copied and pasted, but we're not talking about that spot. And he's on NC State +215 over Virginia. So he's got NC State +215 over Virginia, his favorite dog today. All right, let's roll on to the next spot on the board for our Mikey Money. 7 p.m. action, UNC Greensboro Spartans, Western Carolina Catamounts. 3 straight wins for UNC Greensboro. 1 came on the road, the last 2 at home, and last one was impressive. A dominating performance, 82-59 over Wofford. They just looked really good. They were just 6.5-point favorites. They completely dominated the game in all facets of it. So that is UNC Greensboro on the 3-game winning streak. The opposite for Western Carolina. They've lost 2 straight by a combined 7 points. Lost by 4 to Sanford, and then went to Furman and lost 65-62 on Saturday. Both teams played on Saturday. They were 3.5-point dogs and covered by a half point. So back-to-back losses for Western Carolina. Let's take a look at the line history. Again, this game popping off at 7 p.m. We have Western Carolina right now as 1.5-point favorites. They opened up as 2-point favorites, got up to 2.5, now 1.5. So a half-point move towards UNC Greensboro. From a total standpoint here, we have Sorry, let me grab this. Here we have it sitting at a 132.5. Opened up at 135, dropped to 132.5. So a 2.5 point move here. And then from a cash flow standpoint, God, sorry, so many games here. From a cash flow standpoint, we got this one. Come on, show your fucking. Here we go. 55% of the tickets, 55% of the cash on UNC Greensboro, and 80% of the tickets on the over, but no word of cash. All right. By the way, Truth Teller, it doesn't show because he was swearing. He did say he was going to bounce, and for us all to cash our bets and good luck. And but now he says, fuck no, this is personal now. I hope you bitches lose your money on the Ravens. So it's a wild roller coaster ride. It's a wild roller coaster.
Just continues to double down and triple down and quadruple down. I mean, it's like you're at the roulette table and it keeps coming up red and you're betting on black. You know what? I gotta put 10 times my money on it now.
Now it's personal and we're bitches, and that comes on the heels of him saying, that comes on the heels of us saying, I hope everybody wins their action. Right? He says, anyway, I'm done talking about football. I'm sorry to derail the chat. Now we're all
for what it's worth, Truth Teller, when Kansas City specifically plays a team that led a defensive or special teams touchdown, and they are 12-0 straight up that next game out there. So for what it's worth,
that's a nice angle for him. For us bitches are in huge problems. It's huge problem. What a roller coaster ride. We're buddies a second ago. Now it's personal and we're bitches. Okay, take it away though here for us. Greensboro, UNC Greensboro at Western Carolina.
Yeah, this line's doing what I expected it to do right now. And, we're seeing you always talk about this, and I try to as well. When you look at these numbers that are kind of shrinking, where we're compressing on that spread, getting it closer to a pick 'em, what's the cash flow doing on the money line? And if you look at that thing, the entire plan, this is the scenario for what's going on with the money line right now. The public comes in, they see Western Carolina 15-4 as the better record. They're at home, and it's only 2 points. You know what I'm going to do? Screw it. I'm just going to take the money line. I'll pay up a little bit for it. And guess what happens? Almost every single time someone carries that attitude. They're trying not to win. They're trying to keep a softer loss is what it comes down to. And they end up taking the loss anyway. So I think UNC Greensboro is a good spot in this game here. Again, I think the wrong team's favored. Yeah, we look at this number. It's tight. The head-to-head matchup for these two teams, kind of tells the story. UNC Greensboro, 4 of the last games they play head-to-head have been winners. We've got West Carolina coming off of 2 losses in a row. And, if you look back at them, they lose to Furman. They did cover the spread. I got that. But they were at home against Samford. So they're kind of in a weird schedule spot. They had 2 road games. They come back home. Then they got to go back on the road. And here they go again. Whereas on the other side of things, UNC Greensboro's been home. They've had time to get things right. They played a shit Citadel team. They didn't cover the spread, but they won. Then they play a Wofford team, and they put the boots to the ass on Wofford. I think they're ready to go spin on the road and take care of a team that they've had no problem taking care of in the past. It's a big conference game out there, clearly. Western Carolina 4-2 in the SoCon. Greensboro 5-1. So this is going to be a big factor for as we start to get closer to that conference tournament. There's a lot for both of these teams to play for, and I just think it comes down to a spot where we've got the better team prevails here. UNC Greensboro's won 14 of its last 15 games against Western Carolina. They got no problem pimp slapping these teams right in the face when they go out there and play them. And, they got guys that go out there and ball. Mikael Brown-Jones goes out there with 20.1 points a game on average. That's not just a spike. Like one of those games we talked about earlier, guy puts up 27 points. He's averaging 15 on the season. These dudes are averaging 20 points a game out there. So they should have no problem getting the job done. They got a trio of double-digit scorers. They got guys that go out there and rebound. And they got, Kobe Langley, 9.4 points a game, but 6.2 assists and 2.5 steals. They're a rounded team. They're a complete team that should be more than capable of going out here and handling business. They average 77.1 points a game. They shoot 47.1%. That's kind of been that astonishing mark when you start to get into college basketball, because we see a lot of teams that 47 to 50% sweet spot, anything beyond that's just an anomaly, but they shoot 39.1% from 3, and they're an effective team at the foul line with a 70.4%, shooting percentage from the foul line there. On the other side of things, we see that at best, Western Carolina is getting themselves 76 points a game. I don't think it's going to be enough to win this game here. They do shoot 46.2% from the field, so slight advantage to the Greensboro side of things. And then they dip down again when they get to the foul line. So again, all the shooting parameters support a spot for, UNC Greensboro to get the job done. And the fact that the line's moving in this direction, contrary to what we said about that last spot there, I think this is the right spot with Greensboro. I think they win this game outright. I was just kind of contemplating the way to get this thing done now, because the fact that it's moving at +1.5, it looked like there was a 2.5, but that was Caesars, and I just checked it's not. So I'm just going to change this one up and just go to the, what can you get for money? What's the difference you have between the money line and the spread? If it's like a nickel, I'll take the spread, but if it's more than a nickel, I'm going to jump on the money line.
Let's do it here. Money line action for you on this one. So we saw the best we can get you is +105. So we can get you a +1.5 at -107. Or
that's the +1.5 at -107 makes enough sense for me in that case. What'd you say? It was +105 to -107?
Yes, +105.
Right, give me the 105.
All right. +105 for UNC Greensboro and our Mikey Money. Let's roll. Truth Teller now says good luck to everyone. Okay, good. Okay, good. So it's we were all bitches a second ago, but now it's all good. It's all good. It's all friendly. Good luck, everyone. Good luck, everyone. All right, next up, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Villanova Wildcats 11-7, 4-3 in the Big East at St. John's Red Storm 12-7, 4-4 in the Big East. We're at Madison Square Garden, MSG. For this one, two good teams playing poorly, or maybe they're not good teams at all, and we found that out in conference play, but you kind of think that they're pretty good teams. I mean, that was a tough loss for Villanova against Connecticut, 66-65 on Saturday. That was their third loss in 4 games. St. John's has lost 3 straight. They both have the common opponent in Marquette. St. John's just lost at home to Marquette by a point. Villanova traveled to Marquette on the Monday of last week and lost 87-74. So 3 of 4 losses for Villanova, 3 straight losses for St. John's. Let's get into the line history here for this one. Sorry, I got money line up. Let me just quickly move over to point spread, and let's talk. Oh, this isn't the last spot on the board. My bad. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, we got one more after this. Sorry. Villanova, St. John's here. This one's popping off at 8:30. Let's set up the line history and hand it over. We are sitting here right now at -3.5 for St. John's. They opened up at -4, got to 4. It's bounced all over the place. We have a half-point move to Villanova. Let's get into the cash flow here for this one. And that is a 140. Oh, sorry. That was the wrong game. Here we go. That's a 145. Sitting at 145. It's opened up. Oh, God, no. It's just moved. There's been a huge move in the last little bit. So this moved to 144, 12-17. And then 20 minutes ago, moved to 143.5. So we have a 2-point move to the under. Let's get into the cash flow then for this spot. We have 86% of the tickets, 75% of cash on the under. We've finally seen it move. And spread-wise, 83% of the tickets and 86% of the cash on St. John's. Public spot on St. John's. Let's hear what Mikey's going to do here at Madison Square Garden, Villanova, St. John.
Yeah, stamp me with the old square patty on this one because I got to go with St. John's here. So I'll give you a couple of reasons why. High level, coaching advantage. Kyle Neptune versus Rick Pitino. I love everything about Rick Pitino, including the way that he recruits players to come to his program. And that's not even alleged from my understanding. So, he goes out to Europe, he wins. He comes back, he plays for Iona or coaches Iona. He gets Iona into the conference tournament in his first year off the hop there and hasn't looked back from that thing. So now he's coaching for St. John's. And I like it. I think it's a great opportunity from a coaching advantage. Kyle Neptune on the other side of things, struggling. We don't know who Villanova is at this point. They're a team that's gone out there. They, kind of struggled to beat a Big 5 school. They lost to Penn. They lost to Drexel. They lost to St. Joe's. Kind of not sure who their identity is. They recruited a bunch of players. They tried to kind of figure things out. But I think what it comes down to is a mismatch. And second thing I'll look at here is, scheduling. We already saw that these boys kind of whooped them up real good one time already. 10 points, right? St. John's comes out there and gets the victory. St. John's then sits on top of the conference, but they hang on with another spot against Providence. I think a bunch of us were on Providence in that game, but Providence wasn't able to get the job done, and St. John's came back through, I believe, as a small dog to come out and win that game outright by 1 point. Then they go through that kind of murderer's row. They're at Creighton. They lose by 1. They get busted up by Seton Hall in a blowout spot. Then they come back home and they play Marquette. All three teams top of the conference within 7 days of each other. So difficult situation out there. That's going to wear on you. And that, again, was the kind of gauntlet out there. So bad scheduling spot that I give the advantage to St. John's in that spot because that's just a tricky spot to be in. And then last but not least, who's shooting the ball on this team here? You got a team in Villanova that shoots way too many three-pointers. And the problem for that with Villanova here is they're an incredible free throw team. They're best in the country. They're very capable. They shoot third most three-pointers in the conference. They're top 10 in college basketball in three-point attempts overall. And now you're going to essentially is a neutral site situation. I know it's home for St. John's, but the Garden, that's tricky. Those national basketball sightlines are entirely different than a lot of those college barns out there. And that's going to be a tough spot to go out there and shoot the three-pointer from. So when you've got a team in Villanova that shoots less than 37% from the three, they're 1-5 over there against the numbers. So we've got a 1-5, less than 37%, a 7-1 when they're greater than 37%. St. John's going to have to play some defense and force them to some bad, awkward shots. This is another game that has huge conference implications right now. They want to get themselves back into that top 5 spot. And right now, if you look at the national college basketball projections, you've got these teams ranked 7th and 8th in seeding for the tournament. But if they get in the top 5, they get that conference bye, and it's an opportunity for them to kind of get a much higher seeding against a weaker team when they get to the conference or with the NCAA tournament. So I think there's a lot to play for. There's a lot at stake. I like the better coach with the team that just had a tough schedule, now back at home against a team that just doesn't shoot right. They got the wrong guys shooting three-pointers because they are an effective team that gets free throws. They just can't get away to get the dunks in there. So keep moving that line for me. I got the 3.5. I'm good with it. And again, I'm gonna kind of turn the plane into the storm on this one and try to fade that line movement as well.
-3.5 at -110. Let's move on to 10:30 p.m.
I think I got a -105 just for ROI purposes.
Oh, great. Let's do that.
FanDuel's got a -105.
Let's move on to 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Truth Teller, jumping on the other side now after all of this, you're now it's not helping the chat at all. It's okay for you to be adamant on one side, but now are you just like trying to mess with us? Please, this is just nuts now. Let's not just be crazy. You have all your action on the Chiefs. God bless you. It's part of the fun. We don't have to be on every side, but don't do this now, please, if you don't mind, please. All right, let's move on to the final spot on the board here. 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Number 24 ranked Colorado State Rams, 15-3, 3-2 on Mountain West. Because we do have one thing, Truth Teller, of the rules that Peter Lochak taught us. One is lying, and it's a crucial one of the rules in the chat here. And so I guess that's what you're doing now as a joke or whatever. But just please stop. It's all good. It's all fun and games. Good luck with the Chiefs, but don't mess with us like this, okay? Number 24 ranked Colorado State Rams, 15-3, 3-2 in the Mountain West at the Nevada Wolfpack, 15-4, 2-3 in the Mountain West. We're at Lawler Event Center. Oh God. Okay. All right, we're gonna shut this down here. Fuck, man.
I'm confused. This is getting confusing. Are we on the Ravens or are we on the Chiefs? Are the Bills playing this weekend?
We're gonna hide. We can talk about unhiding you at some other point. Okay, let's go. Here we have Colorado State Rams at the Nevada Wolfpack. Colorado State's won 2 straight games, both at home, Air Force and UNLV. That came on the heels of 2 straight road losses. They lost at Utah State and lost at Boise. Nevada, on the other side, has lost 3 straight. I mean, this team had won 15 of 16 games. They lose at home to Boise State. They lose at San Diego State. We were all on San Diego State. That was last Wednesday. It was a great win for us. And then they lose at Wyoming 98-93. So 2 straight wins for Colorado State at home, 2 straight losses for them on the road, and then 3 straight losses overall for Nevada. 1 came at home and 2 came on the road. Let's get into the line history here for this one. From a line history standpoint, we are sitting here with Nevada as 3-point favorites. They opened up as 3.5-point favorites. Started at 2, excuse me. Wow. It went down to 1.5 before the Nevada money started rolling in. So they're back at 3.5. They're back at 3.5 at BetOnline. A 1.5-point move towards Nevada there. From a total side of things here, we are sitting at 144. 144, and this is opened up at 146. Actually, it's down to 143. This just moved 15 minutes ago down to 143. So we have a 3-point move to the under and a 1.5 move towards the Wolfpack. From a cash flow standpoint here, we have 93% of the tickets and 99% of the cash on Nevada. Jesus, that's all on Nevada, and no information on the total. Take it away for us here, our guy, Mikey Money. Last game. I don't
like flying in the blind when it comes to the total, but I feel this is a total spot that you absolutely have to clip on here. First of all, you got that. You mentioned that Nevada team off at 3 losses in a row. And I track a bunch of different spots, and one of them is kind of this, I'll call it the posse of. And after you play a posse of teams that include Wyoming, your next games go over at a significant rate. In fact, it's 13-23 to the under. And if you look at this game, it makes a lot of sense when you break it down. They were on the road. They had a little elevation factor to deal with. And it's a 98-93 game that they get just exposed and beaten down and humiliated there as a 7-point favorite. So, what do? You got to come back home. You got to, they got 3 days rest on them going into this game, and you got to figure out defense first. You can't let that shit happen again, because you're going to let the schedule get away from you, and it's going to be a difficult spot, especially when you have a team that comes in and shoots the 2 and the 3 as well as Colorado State does. Colorado State's got incredible efficiency. I just talked about that window between 47 and 50%. This team's shooting 51.4% from the floor. They're 37.6% from 3. The difference maker for me in this game here is you got to force those boys to shoot from the 3 if you're Nevada, and that's a potential challenging spot. They're not very good when it comes to stopping the 3, so they got to definitely kind of try to get their hands and faces and step into their deficiency, if you will, where they're just not as good. The other side of things, though, when you look at Colorado State, they're a strong rebounding team. So the rebounding efficiency with this team, as Nevada shoots, they're going to end up not having a lot of second chance opportunities out there. They're going to get gobbled up and vultured. So that's definitely going to limit that secondary scoring that goes into the play. We look back at this thing, and each of Nevada's last 7 games when they played conference opponents at home have produced a total of 143 points or less. So we know that if you look back at it, they held San Diego State to 59. They held Boise State to 56. They held Air Force to 54. They went on the road and held Fresno to 57. They got no problem keeping this game down in the 60s. And I think it's a tricky little spot on the other side with Colorado State. Colorado State, everybody was, getting off on them. The fact that they went out there and they shut down Creighton. Granted, that was at home, and they ended up getting to the top 19, but they're not the same team. Their last 2 wins against UNLV and Air Force, certainly not worth the badge of honor that goes along with it. They only scored 58 against Boise State. So, difficult situation. They're not the greatest of travel teams out there. And I think this is an opportunity. We're seeing these numbers go low. I mentioned the situation with that posse of teams that get played out there. And I think the challenge for Nevada to score in this game and the long haul is certainly going to be there. I think Colorado State has the opportunity to pull away for this game. But when I look at what happens with the way that Nevada plays the game, they're one of the most efficient teams in the first half out there. So I expect their defense to be able to hold them boys off in Colorado State with scoring a bunch of points in the first half of things. And it's going to be the second half that I'm exposed to. And I think that as this number continues to drop, makes me less excited about the opportunity. But, big factor out there when you've got a home favorite off of 3 straight losses and a total that's less than 145. They're 147 to 154 going to the under in those spots. Not the biggest of margins, but the total and the numbers, the margin that I wanted to focus on. The average total we're seeing in those games is 136 points. So even if it's down to 143.5 right now, we still have 7.5 points in our back pocket from the original 2. The number's dropping. They're not showing us where the number looks or what the percentage looks like. I think it's some trickery because they don't want us to see that this number makes a lot of, everybody's probably pounding this over. There should be a ton of scoring. These 2 teams score, but these numbers show that it's not going to be a score fest. It's going to be an under opportunity for us. 143s, just for future, if anybody's listening to this down the road before tip off, as it's a 9 o'clock game, I'd still like it all the way down to probably 140 and a half, even 140. But anything lower than that, I think is probably going to have to be a pass. So you want to get on it early. It's 4-1 to the under in its last 5 spots out there, and that home favorite's off a 3 losses situation as well. So lots of things align here to go out there and watch this team play some defense, and keep in mind that early start that I mentioned.
I love him, Mikey. Under 143.5 is the best line out there right now. Pinnacle's moved it to 143. Can you beat that anywhere, Mikey? 143.5 minus 110.
No, I don't think so.
We also have St. John's minus 3.5 and UNC Greensboro money line plus 105, Auburn plus 4 and the plus 145, and James Madison minus 7 at minus 105 for Mikey Money. Mikey, tell us a little bit about what's happening on Last Call tonight.
Oh man, we're doing a lot of great things out there. We're having ourselves a week, boys and girls. Nice little 7-3 day yesterday that generated almost 6 units on that thing. So we're going to run it back again today. We do it every Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. LJ's up tonight. You guys know what LJ does. He does not mess around. Prop sides, totals. He's ready to get there and cash on the NBA. I threw the gauntlet down to him. I said, look, I had to show them boys on the sesh how to cap the NBA on Monday. I told him I went and swept the board in the NBA on Tuesday. Big shoes to fill, and he said he's got himself a ready-to-go card tonight as well. So I wanted to throw that out there for Dutch because he knows exactly what I'm talking about from the session on Monday.
Well, I'm sure it will come up in our conversation. I'm sure it will come up. Mikey, thank you for rocking with us. Please follow Mikey on X at Pimp Slap Play of the Day and catch him this evening and Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on Pub Sports Radio on our big new show, Last Call. Thank you, Mikey. Any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
No, man. Thanks, Jimmy, for the opportunity. Shout out Jose and the 6-hour horse race and everybody that's up there in the chat. Al, Perky, Troy, the group, even Truth Teller out there. I don't know if he was calling me a bitch, but I don't take it personal. So, hope you guys all get that cash tonight, and I'll see you guys back here later, 6 p.m., Pub Sports Radio. Last call. Let's go, baby. Get that cash.
Respect. Yeah, I didn't mind being called a bitch. I thought it was wild. It was a wild ride. We were friends for a minute, and then we're little bitches, going back and forth. But then to mess with us, to be on the other side all of a sudden, I didn't appreciate that. Doesn't help the show. That part doesn't help the show. All right, let's roll on to NBA. But first, let's take a peek at the horse race right now. We have, look who has moved up to the front. We still got an hour left, but the bag has put nose out front. Winner of the inaugural horse race, Chris Boggin, who actually was the winner of our only wheel. Dutch boy fresh there in the white, coming back a little bit. Still an hour and 5 minutes here to see who wins $50. All right, let's move on to and the bag back in front, man. That bag just not fucking around. Not fucking around. Let's move on to NBA. We got a beauty 8-game NBA card and just the man to lead us to the cash. He's been very good on our show to start the season. Dutch is sitting 32-24, hitting at 57.1% plus 5.53 units. ROI plus 9.88%. Average line minus 110. He's been very good. Al Cervix says, I missed the sign up. Tell him again, what's the membership to be in the race? Just got to be a member of our gold. Just Pub Sports Radio Gold membership. You get discounts at our store, and you get into the $50 horse race every Wednesday and Friday right here on Betting with the Bag. Please welcome from Las Vegas, Nevada, got the freshest capper in the industry. Please welcome Mr. Dutch Boy Fresh. Dutchy, what's good, my man? You are fighting for the lead here in our horse race, and that takes us a little bit away from where you are. You look, it doesn't look like it's snowing, unlike here in the 6. It's horrific outside. Looking good over there. How are you, my man?
Jimmy the motherfucking bag. The NBA is a hell of a drug. And you're looking at the plug. Yeah, man. I'm good, Jim. I'm good. God damn, the pimp is becoming the new Bobano. The Bobano's actually working on his. It's more breakdown instead of soliloquies now. And the pimp has taken over this motherfucker's spot. God damn, he's long-winded as a motherfucker. But shout out to the pimp. You know what I mean? He better stop trying to treat me like a trick. God damn it. But nah. Hey, I can't believe he even brought up the sesh. I don't know if you heard what he did on Monday. We definitely don't remember his NBA breakdown. I'll just say that. This motherfucker ended the whole show. God damn it. But yeah, shout out to you, Jim. Shout out to everyone in the chat. I'm at the pool right now. It's not too warm though. I'm not at the pool really because I would like to be. It's more I'm trying to keep it respectfully. So we'll make it work. It's not too cold. I'm not gonna say it's cold considering where you're at, but it's definitely more jacuzzi weather than pool weather. You know what I mean?
Well, it's nice to have you. Can we get your audio a little strong? Is there anything we can do to get it a little clearer? Anything at all we can do to get it a little? Let's hear you. Maybe get a little
closer.
Yeah, there's that helps a little. That
Yeah,
helps a little.
that's a lot. Is that better?
Yeah, that helps. That puts us right in business. All right. Let's get to work. Mikey says he's got to own his mistakes. That's what Mikey says.
Yeah, he's got to fucking keep it tight when he sees my ass in the background. That's what he's got to do.
Okay, let's go. All right, let's go, Dutch. Let's get to work here. We have a beauty NBA card, and we start at 7 p.m. Eastern. Charlotte Hornets 10-31, 5-17 on the road. Detroit Pistons 4-39, 2-20 at home at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Now the Hornets and the Heat have completed their trade. Rozier and for Lowry in the first rounder. We know which basketball player is excited about the trade. Rozier is a game time decision. Kyle Lowry is out. He is out. He won't be in the lineup. Who knows if he'll ever be in the lineup for the Charlotte Hornets. Hornets 2-3 over the past 5, though, playing at the 22nd fastest pace in the league, 97.4 possessions a game. Detroit 1-4, playing at the 5th fastest pace in the league, 102 possessions a game. Let's get into the line history here for this one and the cash flow. Set it up and then hand it over to Dutch Boy Fresh. So from a line history standpoint, we are sitting here with the Detroit Pistons as that's BetOnline 2.5-point favorites -116 at BetOnline. Over at Pinnacle, Detroit's -3 at -102. They opened up at 2.5, went to 3, got to 3.5. Then there was buyback, so a slight move towards the Detroit Pistons. From a total standpoint, we are sitting here with a 231. This got up to 234. Before there was heavy buyback on the under. So we now have a 1.5 move towards the under. When we get to the cash flow here, we have, let's move over here. We have 68% of the tickets and 92% of the cash on the Detroit Pistons. 68% of tickets and 79% of cash on the over. And when we take a look at in and out, Cunningham is a game time decision for Charlotte. Hayward, Lowry, Williams out. Martin and Richards are game time decisions. Hornets coming off their second win in 3 games, 128-125 at the Timberwolves on Monday. We know the trade has gone down, and Kyle Lowry, who knows if he will report. Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges have been looking very good. They combined for 55. LaMelo had 13 assists in the victory and just 1 turnover. Pistons coming off their third straight loss, 122-113 at home over the Bucks on Monday. They played pretty good. Thompson went for 22. Sasser went for 23. Sasser hadn't scored more than 11 points since November 30th. They looked pretty good enough to cost Griffin his job coaching the Bucks after just 43 games. Take it away for us here, Dutch. Hornets, Pistons.
Yeah, man. I mean, let's be real. This is not a good game. I mean, can you make money off this basketball game? Absolutely. But I brought you a little something, Jim, because you're my friend, my guy. Because you're my friend, I got to do a little something for you. But outside of that, I do want to touch on that trade real quick. I do believe Miami Heat at plus 1,400 with the addition of Rozier. I mean, it's worth a unit. I definitely with Spo and that Eastern Conference and as beat up as Boston is, I think if you're in the futures, that's definitely a look that I don't believe will be there. If we look at it in a month from now, I like the addition of Terry Rozier a lot, and we know Miami's got that grit. But to get back, and I do think Kyle Lowry will be wearing. I really believe he's gonna be wearing blue or orange, and it's either gonna be in New York or in Phoenix. That's where Kyle Lowry will be. He will not play for the Charlotte Hornets. But in this game, the Pistons have fucked around, Jim, and covered in 5 straight basketball games. Cade Cunningham is questionable for this game. Now, they still do what they do, losing 10 out of the last 11. I mean, that's just what Detroit does, is lose basketball games. But, they're 0-6 straight up last 6 at the crib, and 1-8 straight up last 9 meetings at home versus the Hornets. The Hornets, for some reason, play these motherfuckers so good. They're 16-4 straight up last 20 meetings. Now, you could say whoever's on the court, the last 20 motherfucking times they played the Detroit Pistons, they beat them 16 goddamn times. And the Pistons ain't a good basketball team. You did touch on Brandon Miller, probably having the best game of his career, starting to look real comfortable in the NBA uniform. We know Miles Bridges. We know he can get. He's a bucket when he's not out doing shit he shouldn't be doing. He's getting more comfortable, obviously, as well. And most importantly, they got LaMelo Ball back. So if I'm betting this basketball game, I'm betting the Charlotte Hornets. I just don't trust the Detroit Pistons flat out. So you're getting points here, and they've been big brother, little brother type shit in this game. And I still think probably the most dominant player on the court, will be LaMelo Ball. So if you want to bet this game, Jim, it's the Charlotte Hornets, but it's a pass for me.
I love bum fights, but I want a bum fight where I think one of the bums is going to beat the other bum. I don't want a coin flip bum fight.
Yeah,
BJ
and
saying,
coin flip, you always take the dog, in my opinion, right? And you got more talent. Realistically, there's more talent on the Hornets.
Yeah, I just this is not appealing here at all to me. So I'm going to stay off Hornets, Pistons. Brent Cook giving us a final score, 121-109. Detroit says, Math says Pistons. Brain
These
says,
final
move
scores
on.
crack me up. It's hard enough to fucking pick a side, right? Or a total, Jim. Then we got final scores and shit. In the NBA, that's pretty hard to do. Shout out to Brent Cook, though.
On Friday, I thought I had a really nice look on two sides. They cashed so easily, and then I lost 2 unders. And I was like, what am I doing? Still betting unders, still betting totals. I'm going to try it.
It's like props with me.
Yeah. I got to try so hard to stay off of it. Sky Dragon says he's betting Charlotte, the better team catching points. I get it. But I'm going to move off. And on to the next game. 7 p.m. Eastern, Minnesota Timberwolves, an angry Timberwolves team, 30-13, 13-9 on the road at the Washington Wizards, 7-35, 3-16 at home at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Minnesota 3-2 over their past 5, playing at the 22nd fastest pace in the league, 97.4 possessions a game, while Washington 1-4 playing at the 3rd fastest pace, 102.40 possessions a game. Let's get into the line history here for this one. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. From a line history standpoint and cash flow standpoint. From a total look, we're sitting here at a 230. It's at a pick'em. This opened up at 231, but it got up to 232 before it started dropping. Dropped down to 229.5. It just moved back to 230 24 minutes ago. And from a spread perspective, we're sitting here with the Timberwolves at minus 11, at minus 105. They open up at 11.5, a half-point move towards these Wizards. Then when we get to the cash flow, here we'll go to all markets, make that a little easier. From a spread perspective, we have 79% of the tickets and 86% of the cash on the Timberwolves, half-point move towards the Wizards. Then we have 42% of the tickets and 56% of cash on the under. Timberwolves coming off their second straight loss, 128-125 at home over the Hornets on Monday. Cat goes for a franchise record 62. You think Chris Finch wanted to talk about that? He was angry after the game, called it an absolutely disgusting performance of defense and immature basketball. This is what happens when you have that type of approach. So there was no ass slapping for Karl Anthony Towns. Nobody bought him a new video game. The Wizards coming off their 4 straight loss, 113-104 at home versus the Nuggets on Sunday. Kuzma 17, Tyus Jones 15, and 13 assists, and Gaff was back 15-7. Also, Marvin Bagley has looked okay. In fact, though, he's only the 3rd player in the history of the NBA to go for 20-10 in his first 2 games with his new team following an in-season trade. I was shocked at that stat. So it's just Wilt Chamberlain and the basket maker, Antoine Walker, and Marvin Bagley? How Antoine Walker, Marvin Bagley in conversation with Wilt Chamberlain? Take it away for us here, Dutch. Timberwolves, Wizards.
That tells you some of these stats, right? Marvin Bagley, yeah, he's one confused. He confuses the fuck out of me. He really does. It's funny too because you started off the breakdown, Jim, and said angry Timberwolves, and all I thought about is Cat's ass. Like you can imagine him really trying to be angry like this motherfucker. And I tried to vouch for this guy for a couple of years. Like I think he has a talent. I mean, the motherfucker just dropped 62, so he has some talent, obviously. But it's in here and in here, and when it ain't there, you see that. So and that shit contagious. And that's probably what they really don't have a leader. If they had a leader in that locker room, it should have been Mike Conley. You'd think it would be Mike Conley. It could be Anthony Edwards because he's that good, but he's still too young. But if they had a guy like Udonis Haslem, some guy like that in that locker room, that shit they would have snuffed that shit in the ass at halftime. Maybe 3rd quarter, but. You would expect the Timberwolves to bounce back, but this line's insane, Jim. This line is fucking crazy, bro. Like, I just don't get this line. It's too big. Especially when the Wizards, say what you will, talent level, who's been on the court, who hasn't been on the court, they've covered it in the last 7 meetings, or they've covered it the last 3 meetings, and have won 7 straight meetings versus these motherfucking Timberwolves, Jim. The last 3 meetings, they've won by an average of 14 points per game. I don't know what it is, but the Wizards just play these boys tough. We know the Wizards have guys that can put the ball in the bucket with Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma. You touched on it. They can get hot, but at the end of the day, they can't stop, 5 dope YMCA players from dropping 125 on them. So, there's most definitely Minnesota's going to get theirs. But when you start talking double digits on the road here, I know the Minnesota should be a little bit of an angry team. I simply don't trust them to cover this big of a number. Could they blow the Wizards out? Absolutely. But as I mentioned, they played pretty well with them. I would expect it to kind of go bucket to bucket, and I see like a 7 point win here by, the Timberwolves. So nothing official for me because I'm not trying to risk my hard-earned money on motherfucking the Washington Wizards. But I can understand why you would. I can. And I like the coaching thing I like coming out from Finch. Obviously you think the team was going to rally around that, and I do, and I think they'll show up tonight. But 11 fucking points, and Finch's little post-game conference made me like that dude a lot more.
When I think of the North End, says he's with Dutch, that people are going to think easy bounce back spot. I don't know if they're going to cover 11. They could be up 18 early with 6 minutes left. Yeah, I mean, how do they not, after what Finch said, how do they not show you some defense and some intensity as soon as the ball's tipped in the first quarter?
Yeah, I could see Minnesota early, Jim. Maybe I overlooked that one. But it's just like this number is just so high for me. But yeah, why not break it in half? What is it, 7.5? Can you get it?
I'm just talking about 12 minutes right off the hop. Oh, yeah. How do they not play with intensity and cover the 3.5 in the first quarter?
Yeah, I'm not a first quarter. Every time I play the fucking first quarter bet, it breaks. So you don't want me on it. So it'll probably cash if I don't bet it. So, but I like it. I get it.
Dan Kelly saying Timberwolves will be playing their 6th game in 9 nights tomorrow in Brooklyn. Minnesota could be focused tonight. I don't see how they're, and this is not, I'm going to try to stay away from doubling up on spots, even though if I have conviction, I will. And maybe this is one of those spots where you could, but first
What's
quarter.
The first half line?
The first half right now is a real decent 6.5. Maybe this is a double up spot on them early.
Yeah, I was thinking anything under 7 is probably good. So I'm going to relook into that, and I got time. When I get back to the condo, I'm going to dive into that a little more, Jim.
Maybe this is a double up spot. I mean, after what Finch said, how do you not get to work? DG saying Cats points under, Ant points over, Minnesota every way, and Washington team total under. They got to come out ready to go today. They got to. I mean, against this just horrific Wizards team. I guess.
I like what Ant said in the post game too. He stood on it. So I would expect him definitely come out ready to rock. And Cat, I wouldn't expect him to come out angry, but at least lock the fuck in.
I'm interested. Let's move on. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Memphis Grizzlies 16-27, 12-12 on the road at Miami Heat, 24-19, 12-8 home. We're in Miami, Florida, Kaseya Center. Memphis 2-3 over their past 5. Same with the Heat. Heat are playing the second slowest pace in the league, and only Orlando playing slower. And they're playing really slow. 93.75 possessions a game. Memphis playing at 97.80 possessions a game. Memphis just a laundry list of who's out. Marcus Smart, Derrick Rose, Brandon Clark, Desmond Bane, Aldama, Kennard. Kennard's actually a game-time decision. And Rozier is a game-time decision. They have Jaquez here as a game-time decision, but I have him as being out for this game. There's no timetable from his return from a groin injury. I have him as doubtful. They've got him listed here as a game time. So I don't believe that's the case. I think he is out. Let's set this up here and go into the line history for this Heat spot. I'm on first half, so let's get over the full game. We have the Heat minus 10.5 right now. They open up at minus 9.5, a 1-point move towards the Heat. From a total side of things here, we are dealing with. Here we go. From a total side of things, we are dealing with a 213. A 213, old school numbers here. Opened up at 214.5 down to 213. So a move to the under and a 1-point move to the Miami Heat. And then we have 22% of the tickets and 25% of the cash on the Heat. It's moved a point in their direction. 26% of tickets, but 56% of cash on the under. Grizzlies stopped their 2-game losing streak with that 108-100 win at the Raptors on Monday. Is disgrace for the Raptors. Memphis 4-4 since Morant finished done for the year with the shoulder injury. And, this was the first game of this, first win for the Grizzlies on this road trip. Jaren Jackson went for 27. Vince Williams Jr. had his first double-double. But injuries are just ridiculous. A litany. Heat coming off a third straight loss, 105-87 at the Magic on Monday. And Scary Terry, now a member of the Heat, and could play tonight. Take it away for us here, Dutch. Grizzlies at Heat.
Yeah, man. The Grizzlies they have a bum squad out there, but they try hard. I guess that's what you could say is you got a team that goes out there and tries for 48 minutes. But if you like anything with the Grizzlies, it's definitely Triple J. I like what I'm seeing out of him. He definitely knows that he's the best thing going in Memphis by a long shot right now. So it's his basketball team. Miami should handle business here. It's hard to look Miami early though, and I'm definitely not laying this type of number, even though they've came back and, covered a couple games at the crib of late. I just can't lay this type of number with Miami because they could sleepwalk and beat Memphis at any time, just flip the switch. And when I know Memphis is going to come in there and try to, and really just try to outget them just outquick them to the basketball, just try to be quicker to everything. And I think that might happen early because I wanted to look at Miami early. I started thinking, man, South Beach, fucking, they don't show up to the game until about mid-first quarter. I think there might be a little juice on Memphis, but no way can I go to the window with them. But yeah, man, I watched that Toronto game. I was like, what the fuck am I watching here? But it was surprisingly Memphis. I did see that the Grizzlies do try hard and run the entire fucking game because they got a whole bunch of fucking G League players on their team. So talent level, clearly Miami. Rozier in the lineup should give him some juice. I could only look Miami, Jim, but the feeling I have is just that it could be tight early, and I'm not laying 11.
Yeah, they're going to get a boost from this trade. This doesn't. It's not very appealing, but the low amount of tickets and cash on them and the line moving a point towards them is somewhat interesting. Saturated looking at Kennard if he gets in PRA. There's our guy Gamblestein in the house. Brent Cook giving us final score of Heat 103, Grizzlies 102. Robert Franklin on the under 212. Billy Grizz is 212 total. How the Heat double-digit favorites in the game, barely cracking 100. Topset says Heat about to go on a run. Knicks are next. Sky Dragon says 3 straight losses, blown out at Orlando last out. Think Miami brings it here. That 105-87 loss at the Magic was ugly. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I wanted to get Miami here, Jim. I did, but I'm like, I don't like taking Miami early, really, because as I said already, the crowd factor. But absolutely, I can see Miami coming out, hero, hitting a 3, dunking, hitting, Bam getting some dunks, and next thing you know, they're up 12 early. But I'm gonna stay off of it. I think there's better looks on the board, but I can see it. There's levels to this shit. And Miami's clearly on another level. I just haven't been – they're not a team I've been laying double digits with this season whatsoever.
Well, let's roll on. 8 p.m. Eastern, we have the Portland Trailblazers 12-3, 15-19 on the road to the Houston Rockets 20-22, 16-7 at home at the Toyota Center, Houston, Texas. Portland 2-3 over the past 5, playing 17th fastest pace, 98 possessions a game, while Houston 1-4, playing at the 9th fastest pace in the league, 100.51 possessions a game. Let's get into the line history here. Houston double-digit favorites in this one, minus 10.5 and minus 105. This is the 4th game on the card, and 3 of the 4 have been double-digit favorite situations. Houston opening up at 9.5 now at 10.5, a 1-point move in their direction. From a total standpoint, we're sitting at 221.5. This open there. It did go up to 223, but it's back right where it opened. And then from a flow perspective in this Blazers Rockets spot, 73% of the tickets and 85% of the cash on the Rockets, 83% of tickets, 96% cash on the over. Now, Houston coming off their 6th loss in 8 games. It was, 4th loss in 5 games. A 116-107 home versus Celtics on Sunday. And they're going to have 3 players back who weren't in the lineup in that one. That's Fred VanVleet, Jabari Smith, and Jeff Green will all be back. Portland on the second half of back-to-back after losing 111-109 at Thunder last night. I guess they redeemed themselves slightly, even though they fell apart late after losing by 62 the last time they ran. We have LJ from H-Town on Rockets first half, and Billy Briz really liking the Rockets, putting the lock sign here. Let's see what we're talking about.
That's not allowed. That's damn near not allowed. Just like that fucking hoodie crop that the motherfucker had on.
I don't know what is it called. I don't know what to call it. A belly tee? I don't know. I don't know what to call it.
Something he called it. He called it a crop hoodie, or he called it some weirdo shit. But yeah, no locks. And shout out to our guy Billy Briz. Check him out. He'll be vibing out with me tonight. All about the hoops, man. We need y'all to support it. All about the motherfucking hoops. We've been cashing too. And Billy is really sharp and really good for the show because he caps college basketball really well. And he knows the NBA, obviously, really good. My bad. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. It's set up for you. Nasty says rather the lock than the Nike tube top in the ass slaps. That's from.
I'm with it.
Take us home. Is there anything you like here in Blazers Rockets?
No, honestly, I don't like this game, Jim. I really think that I think this game, I can see where LJ's at. Shout out to our guy LJ. He should be vibing out with us tonight as well. But I can see what he's thinking about Rockets first half. But in a back-to-back game with Blazers, I would like to have it full game in a back-to-back situation. But I know he cashes a lot with the Rockets first half. But the Rockets have been not a bet-on team whatsoever. 1-7 ATS last 8. You talked about their straight up recently. Lost 4 of the last 5, Jim, and against the Blazers, I don't know what it is, but the Blazers play this team well, kind of like the Wizards against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've owned 5 ATS last 5 versus the Blazers in Houston. They're 14-6. They are 14-6 straight up at the house. So you look and think Houston will win this game, but now we're talking double digits. It's almost the same thing as like, do I expect Minnesota to handle business? I do, but 11 motherfucking points. And now we got the Houston Rockets as a 10.5-point favorite. So the only way I would bet it is Houston early. But then again, it kind of keeps me off of it because I could see, Portland playing again, in a back-to-back situation. I touched on what I'd rather have full game. And then also they look decent last night against OKC. DA was pretty much MIA. But also, they got some guys that are starting to get a little bit more comfortable and could definitely get you some buckets. And some guys that could be on the, trading block, so could be trying to show out for the move. So I expect Houston to handle business. I do through 4 quarters, but I'm not laying this type of number, Jim. Yeah, and the Blazers, real quick, Blazers have covered at 4 out of the last 5. They've covered 4 out of the last 5, and they're 10-3 straight up last 13 meetings versus the Houston Rockets, bro. My fault.
Yeah, I'm not interested in it. I mean, it'd be Houston or no bet here after Portland played their hearts out yesterday. But I mean, clearly, when their front court is Grant, Walker, and Ayton, they're better. As much as we can hammer on Ayton for missing games because of a snowstorm. Just head not being in it, whether it's game day or practice day. But I don't find it appealing enough. But LJ liking Houston first half, and Billy Briz think Houston takes care of business here. Let's move on to the next spot on the board, and wild stuff here. Cleveland Cavaliers at the Milwaukee Bucks. Adrian Griffin canned after 43 games. Will they be going to Doc Rivers? How long will Joe Prunty be the interim head coach? All of these questions are needing to be answered here. Dan Kelly says, you might remember that 2 months ago I said that Adrian Griffin looked like Joe Biden wandering around the Milwaukee sidelines.
What the fuck?
He did look a little confused. And now he's gone. Cleveland running and playing great ball. 8 straight victories for these Cavs. Let's take a look at the line. Imagine 8 straight victories and they're not healthy. It's a pretty interesting watching these Cavs roll. From a total perspective, we're sitting at a 236.5. This opened up at 236.5. It's there now. There has been a 5-cent move towards the under. From a spread perspective here in this one, we have the Bucks -7 at -101. They opened up at 6, went up to 7, dropped down to 6, 6.5, and back at 7. And cash flow wise, here we have the 62% of the tickets on the Bucks and 59% of the cash, 30% of the tickets and 85% of the cash on the under. I wonder if, when we always talk about the bounce that the team gets with the fired coach, but we don't have the new coach there yet. I mean, are they going to really play? Is it Prunty that they're trying to impress, or are they, wanting to impress their new coach? I don't know. It's an interesting situation. HVAC Girl says the Bucks hired Doc Rivers. That was not official this morning. Let's see if this is now official. And yes, they did 1 hour ago. 1 hour ago, they have hired him. Okay. Wow. So it's come to fruition. So I guess Doc will be there tonight. That's got to be a bounce for them. These teams play 2 straight at Milwaukee, so they play tonight and Friday night. So this is a great situation for us to kind of sit and prepare for. Cavs coming off their 8 straight win, as I said, 126-99 at Orlando on Monday. Sam Merrill, 26 points, 8 of 13 from 3. Spider went for 25 and 13 assists. Jared Allen is 12 straight double-double. They're still without Mobley and Garland, and those 2 didn't travel with them on the trip. And Ty Jerome and Karis LeVert missed Monday's game. But they're still rolling here. Milwaukee finished playing 2 straight at Detroit. They didn't look very good. Giannis, 6 triple-double of the season, 31, 17, and 10. Chris Middleton went for 26. Lillard, 17, 8 assists. Take it away for us here, Dutch. Cavs, Bucks.
Yeah, man, this is a clear fear to deer spot tonight. I like the juice factor, getting the coach, but it's mainly on the players, man. You've heard it so far. Giannis said he wasn't feeling it, mainly a big thing of what I've read about is Damian Lillard. He tried to adjust, and these motherfuckers gave up an awful lot for Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is an elite talent. They need to get more out of it, and it's clearly that they made changes to do that because Adrian Griffin wasn't doing that. So when it's a player thing, and from this, the way this goes after being 30 and 13 or whatever the number is, number 2 in the East, and you get fired, it's a player thing. So the players are definitely going to show up tonight. Believe that. And when you got players the status of Giannis, Damian Lillard, Brook Lopez, Billy, Middleton, Bobby Portis. You're going to get all of it tonight. And I believe you'll get a good bench effort as well. Most importantly, you got to play the perimeter against this Cleveland Cavaliers team. They lead the league in the last 15 games, for averaging 43 attempts from 3, making 18 of those, Jim. So you touched on Sam Merrill, Donovan Mitchell is playing like he did back in Utah. You got Strus, of course, we know about him. You got Niang off the bench. I don't know if LeVert will be out there tonight either. He didn't play last game. If he does, he's probably going to be a little banged up. But you're missing an awful lot. And when I say that, there's levels to this shit, Jim. All right? And this competition has been extremely suspect. I don't have all my written down. I don't have my other computer with me right now because I'm obviously at the fucking pool. But you could look at if you could bring up the competition, the last 8 games, they're one good win. In that eight straight for the Cavaliers is literally the Milwaukee Bucks. All right. Outside of that, we're talking San Antonio Spurs. We're talking Washington Wizards. Now, the Cavaliers have looked good, missing pieces, but there's also, like I mentioned, there's levels to this shit. And the Milwaukee Bucks overlooked them when they went in there. The only good win, as I mentioned, in those 8 straight was January 17th in Cleveland against the Milwaukee Bucks, which I was on Cleveland first half. I believe we talked about it on this show, Jim. But the Bucks lost that game by 40. All right, 40 in Cleveland. December 29th. They're a favorite. They lose by 40. Now, had won 9 out of the last 10 prior to that, and did win the prior meeting earlier by 8 in Cleveland this year. Have won 9 out of the last 10 in Milwaukee versus the Cavs. So they handle business at the house against Cleveland. But really what this is, Jim, you lose to a team by 40. I was up by 20 at halftime. I didn't have to sweat that. I had plus 2.5 first half. I didn't have to sweat that motherfucker whatsoever. It was embarrassing for Milwaukee. I was waiting for this spot, to be quite honest with you anyways. And now We got the coaching factor coming in. This is big time. Fear the dear Milwaukee Dame time tonight. Believe it. And say what you will about Doc Rivers, but he's a clear upgrade from Adrian Griffin. Especially we know Doc what he could do in the regular season. It's not about the regular season with Doc. So I expect the players to get it done absolutely tonight and run the Cavaliers off the floor. Most importantly, guard that motherfucking perimeter. Do not let them shoot open threes. Milwaukee Bucks first half -4. I got the 6 full game, Jim. Whatever we can get, but this is a full game first half for me.
And first half.
Yes, sir. I like the 4 a lot. I like the 6 a lot, but
I was thinking first quarter and first half. I think
I don't bet first quarters. It's like you with your totals and shit. Like, I like it. I think Milwaukee comes out, smacks them around from start to finish, Jim. I said it yesterday with Ski. This is a trifecta spot, man. Shout out to Mr. Trifecta. But yeah, we my money first half -4, full game -6.
Let's line shop for you right now. Smoking Tree on the first half over 120.5. And Dan Kelly said you're, also that one good team they beat by 40 didn't have Giannis Antetokounmpo in the lineup. Let's grab.
Yeah, that's right. He was a late scratch in that game. Shout out to he was a late scratch in that game, which I was. Sometimes you think, oh man, the star is out, fuck. And I had that feeling, but at the same time, I was like, fuck that, man. I got 2.5. The line's a pick 'em, and the best players not on the court. I'm happy with it, and it turned out like it should have.
Okay, so we can get you a 6.5, a full game, but it costs a nickel. It costs -115. I'm going to see what it is here at Penny quickly. See what we can get you here. They have your. Oh yeah, we can get it cheaper than that. They have 6.5 and -111.
Yeah, so lock that up. And
let's get you the.
And the 4 should still be available because I bet that not too long ago.
Full game -6.5 at -111, and then first half we can get you the 4 at -108.
It's good money, man. It's good money. Giannis gonna be running all like a fucking deer tonight. Believe that.
So Giannis also is a game time decision at this point. Is there any concern that we should wait for him to be announced in? Or we think he was a big part?
I feel the same way. I think he's a big part. I feel the same way about this with the Luka situation. They say he questionable. Giannis is playing, Luka's playing.
All right. We have Dutch locked in here. And I'm interested in joining, especially first quarter, first half at this point.
It's a money spot right here, man. This is the best look on the card, man.
I like it. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and our guy BJ is giving us his NBA best bet. Dallas Mavericks money line here. Phoenix Suns 25-18, 11-7 on the road at Dallas Mavericks, 24-19, 13-10 at home. We're at American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. Phoenix rolling right now. And over the last 5 games, they've won them all, obviously. 99.1 possessions a game, 12 fastest in the league. And just behind them is the Mavericks, who are 2-3 over the past 5, 98.4. 0 possessions a game. We have Luka, Seth, Dante Exum, and Kyrie all game time decisions at this point. When I had broken this down, I guess Luka with back tightness, Exum with the plantar fasciitis, Seth Curry with the left ankle sprain. We thought that even though Kyrie's been dealing with this right thumb sprain, that he was the most likely of everyone to go at this point, but all 4 of them are game time decisions, and clearly our guy BJ expects them all to go. So that's the situation here. LJ from H-Town says Suns first half -1. They're 15-8 against the spread in the first half versus the West. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. It's a big one. We have Dallas sitting here at +2.5, -104. They opened up at +2. They're now +2.5. From a total standpoint, we are sitting here with a 240.5 juice to the under. Opened up 240.5 -106 to the under. It's now -110. So 4-cent move towards the under. We take a look at the cash flow. We have 54% of the tickets and 58% of the cash on the Suns lines moving in their direction. 69% of the tickets are on the under. We're not sure about cash flow at this point. Suns coming off their 6th straight win, 115-113 at home over the Bulls on Monday. This is the first of a 7-game road trip that concludes on February 4th. They're going to be on the road for a long time. KD back-to-back 40-plus games, scored the season high 43, and Bradley Beal went for 18. And KD won the game with 1.6 seconds left. Mavs coming off their third loss in 4 games, 119-110 at home versus the Celtics. Luka went for a triple-double, 33, 18, and 13. But Tatum and Brown combined for 73. And what are you going to do? Kyrie, 23 with the thumb injury. Take it away for us here, Dutch. Suns, Mavericks.
Yeah, man. I like the Mavericks here. I got them at plus 2.5. I believe that these guys are going to rock and roll. As we touched on, I believe Kyrie, Luka, most importantly, will be out there. But I think they all, from what I've seen, I think we're pretty confident that everyone's going to be out there. Man, they just play the Suns well, man. Some teams play it. It's like the Pelicanos versus Sacramento. You know, they just match up well with them. You ain't got no point guard. Comes down to it, man. Luka going to exploit that. He really going to exploit that. I really like the Mavs tonight. I do believe, Luka had a good game last game, but we got to stand on it. I know you've seen Jalen Brown put him on the ground. Luka probably didn't like everyone seeing that over for the next 24 to 48 hours. So I think Luka could come out and bust ass tonight. I really do believe that, and he bust ass every night, and he definitely busted ass last time he's seen Phoenix. December 25th, Jim, they were 4.5-point dog in Phoenix. They win that game by 14. Luka, 50, a motherfucking 50-piece, dropped 15 dimes and 6 rebounds in that game. They've won 3 of the last 4 meetings versus Phoenix. Average win, 12 points per game. They've had their way with them. They covered 4 of the last 5 in Dallas versus the Phoenix Suns. Actually 6 out of the last 7, or 6 out of the last 7 overall versus the Phoenix Suns they've covered. And the Phoenix Suns against the number they've been playing better ball. Shout out to KD. He's looked really good the last couple games, and there was a big time shot against Chicago. They're 5-14-1 ATS last 20. That's not fucking good. So I don't give a fuck how much talent they got out there. It still is not going to fit against good teams. Dallas is not a great team, but they're a good team. Why? Because they have Luka the fucking dog. They find a way, I think, to get this game done. Would I be surprised if it comes down to the last second shot? Absolutely not. I think Luka and Kyrie find a way because they got 2 guys that can actually play point guard. Phoenix doesn't have a point guard. I'm huge on having a point guard, and this is what comes down. KD can get you over a lot, and I wouldn't be surprised if he hits a game winner tonight. I think they lose this game tonight, though. But I'm going to get the 2.5 because, it's a bucket, man. It's a bucket. So 2.5 minus 110. Dallas Mavericks, good money.
I can get you the 2.5 at minus 104, which means the 3s at minus 115. What's your preference?
I'll take what I bet, the 2.5.
Plus 2.
There's 3s going out there. If this shit goes up, I might bet it again because I only drop 1 unit on it.
Plus 2.5 here at minus 104. We got 2 games left in NBA and 25 minutes left in our 2.5-hour horse race. Jose, bring the horse race back up. Let's see where we stand here with 25 minutes. And look at that. God, the bag's been up front for a long time. A long time. Can he finish the deal here? We got Billy Bridge.
Man, who the fuck's running this shit? You went back to back, man. That might have to, have to throw some questions.
The last one was won by Director 97. But yeah, if I win 2 out of 3. But as we're saying that, Randall Sheffield is blowing past here. Chosen one on the outside, making a big move. Dutch Boy Fresh in this here. Dutch Boy Fresh, $50 up for grabs. There's Nutflush Allen poking his nose up front, and Chris Bogan there. 24.5 minutes left in our horse race. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board for us, and that is 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Oklahoma City Thunder 30-13, 13-8 on the road at San Antonio Spurs, 8-35, 3-16 at home, Frostbank Center in San Antonio, Texas. For those of you coming to Pubapalooza, Jeff's working on getting us a box for Saturday night, Suns, Spurs. I will definitely go if there's a box.
Yeah, because we can watch the college games in there too.
Oh, we could do, man. Oh yeah, we're gonna run the spot, man.
That would be dope.
I've never been in a box at a basketball game, so I would love that opportunity.
It's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, most definitely. Because I feel like you want to, get loaded and eat shit, have a good time. So that's where you want to be at in the box.
Yeah, and you're not stuck in your seat. Yeah, it sounds.
You can move around and shit. It's nice.
we will give updates on that as we find them out. Oklahoma City, San Antonio Spurs, Chet versus Wemby. Does it get better than this? How much fun is this game going to be to watch here? Finally, Chet, Wemby going at it, and they're both playing such incredible basketball. Let's get into the line history here of this one. We have on a spread situation, Oklahoma City is 8-point favorites. 8-point favorites. They opened up as 7-point favorites. This went down to 6.5 before it started moving in that direction. Now at 8. From a total side of things here, we are dealing with a 242 minus 108 to the over. This opened up at 241. This has gone up to 243 a couple different times and come back. So it's still a move to the over. And Billy Briz, saying based on how OKC played last night, they want this game. OKC on the second half of a back-to-back. Let's get into the cash flow for this one. You have 33% of the tickets and 39% of the cash on the Spurs, 67-61 on the Thunder, and then moving in the Thunder's direction. Then it's slightly. Then from a total perspective, 84% of tickets on the over and 56% of the cash. So there's small amount of bets on the under and big amount of cash here. So the Thunder on the second half back-to-back after winning their third straight game, 111-109 at home versus the Blazers last night. Shea, 33 and 10. Williams, 19. Wiggins, 13. And Chet had 10 boards. So these last 3 wins have been all very tight games here for the Thunder. They've won 7 of 9. Spurs coming off their 5th loss in 6 games, 133-123. The Sixers on Monday night. Wemby got a chance to see Embiid up close. Good God. Embiid went for 70 and 18.
Yeah, that was like big bro, little bro shit.
Now Wemby went for 33, but you could tell Embiid wanted to prove something.
What I don't get real quick, Jim, in that game and when I was watching it is why didn't Pop help little bro out? I mean, he made him just. It was just like they didn't double Embiid at all. It was like, what the fuck is going on here?
It was, I guess he wants the learning experience up close. It was wild to watch. Showan 14, McBuckets 13. Let's go into this one here. A fascinating spot. Wemby versus Chet. Take it away, Dutch.
Yeah, man. Watch that Thunder game at the end last night. Portland. It was a good game. Portland. It was a tight game, but it did seem like Thunder were just in kind of cruise control. And then I started breaking down the corner. I'm like, man, don't you think about Wemby's ass? Like, they don't think about the San Antonio Spurs. But maybe at this point, I kind of like what I hear from Billy. I think that they kind of overlooked Chet Holmgren due to all the hype with this Wemby. And it's well due. Wemby is one hell of a talent. We ain't never seen nothing like that before. But, I mean, Chet Holmgren, nice, man. And he got an engine that doesn't stop. I really like a guy that can, with that type of athleticism, that can just all the way, nonstop, up and down, defensively, offensively, rebounding. It's a beautiful thing. So I think you can say both teams will rally around their rookies, right? But the problem is the team around Chet Holmgren is pretty damn good. The team around San Antonio Spurs ain't really it, bro. It really ain't it. So. I like the Thunder first half here. I wanted to talk this out, honestly, a little bit, because we will be doing all about the hoops. This was a game I was going to talk about a little bit more. Haven't made anything official on it, Jim, but I do think the Thunder, man, first half, obviously you do have the back-to-back situation, but I expect them to come looking for come out and play for Chet, because I feel like Chet kind of got forgotten about once Wemby hit the scene, and this dude, obviously, because of the injury last year, he's still a rookie pretty much, kind of the Blake Griffin role. So that's the feel I have on it. I don't know if I'll get to the window with it, but yeah, Thunder first half seems like they'll look to me. And they were up 10 last night, Jim, at the end of 1. I really like the first quarter, but I just can't fucking win a first quarter bet, it feels. So I'm just gonna stay off the first quarters, and I think they come out early. They're up double digits, going into the second quarter last night against Portland, and then kind of just took their foot off the pedal,
Yeah, I think they're going to rally around Chet for sure, but you have to imagine Spurs will rally around Wemby. It adds a real interesting layer to this basketball game. Chris, my man, says Monday was my birthday. Can I get a birthday pick? Absolutely, Chris. we will get you a birthday pick, my man. I hope you had a great birthday on Monday, my friend. We will hook you up. So let me
should have checked into Medicaid Monday. You would have won 7 units. That was a birthday, man. 7 units.
Yeah, you guys have been running so nice there. I love seeing it. Let's roll on to our final spot here on the board. We talked about extra layers. This one is full of it. Atlanta Hawks 18-25, 10-13 on the road at the Golden State Warriors 18-22, 11-11 at home. We're at Chase Center in San Francisco, California, and the Warriors have not played now since the 15th. The assistant coach dying really affected the squad, and they needed time off. How are they going to handle this? 6 days off. The practice on Monday was voluntary, and some players said they weren't ready to come back. This is a Warriors team that's 4 games under 500, 500 at home. How are they going to be locked in here? When you talk about the Hawks, we've said that they might be better without Trey. Now, I don't think that is the case long term, but at times it feels that way. DeJounte stepping up. He put up 35 against the Kings. They lost 122-107. But with Milovich's death hanging over the squad, how are the Warriors going to handle things? It's a tricky spot here. Let's get into the line history here for this one. You know what? I tell you, sometimes when someone dies, you're like, oh, this team's going to play for them. Is this one of those times? I don't have that answer. This is sitting here with the Warriors as 6.5-point favorites. They opened up -7, got up 7.5. Now it's down to 6.5. So there's been a half-point move, towards Atlanta. Are the Warriors motivated by that? Like, these are questions. It's just a different type of situation here than what we're usually used to. Total at 233. It's gone up 2 points to 235. Dan Kelly says he's an old guy, 69 next week, and it's been doing this a long time. Fading death is definitely a long-term winning trend. Energy says he died right in front of him. That's the difference. That affected him. It might last for a while. BJ says, could see rust here. I wouldn't touch it if these boys ain't hooping more than a week, says Backwood. So my thought, honestly, is, and I just needed to talk out before anything, was to back the Hawks here. 28% of the tickets, 34% of the cash, 45% on them. So, the lines moved a half point towards them. So the public's on the Warriors. That's not concerning the books. 45% of the tickets and 97% cash on the over. We've seen that move 1.5 points. So take it away here. Hawks, Warriors. This is a complicated spot. Take it away.
Yeah, Jim. I think I like the Warriors here. I just don't like them with this number. I'm gonna wait a little bit, and this is a game where I can see Atlanta coming out early. First, they do play better in the first half, first quarter, first half, and as you mentioned, the Warriors haven't played in a week. So what I could see a little rest. I could see it being a tie basket, maybe even down 4. Maybe at halftime going at the end of 1. But eventually, I think it clicks for the Warriors. And I do think they do handle business, and I think they'll handle business quite easily because that's just what people do when they beat the Hawks. Now, the Hawks are 1-6 ATS last 7 on the road. Trae Young, obviously, they'll be better when they get someone else for Trae, but you can't just attract Trae Young to be a better basketball team, and it just doesn't work that way. So, you'll get a lot out of Murray, and I like that, and I'll touch on that. But Atlanta wasn't winning with Trae. They're not going to win without Trae. It's not that simple. They're 4-12 ATS last 16 overall. So if you're fading the Atlanta Hawks, you have been making money. And the last 6 losses, Jim, their average loss, the last 6 losses have been by 7 or more points. Obviously, that's important because of the spread here. And the average loss in those games is by 20.5 points per game. So when they lose, they get blown the fuck out. So I don't expect the Hawks to go into Golden State where they've lost 9 out of the last 10 and beat the Golden State Warriors. So I do expect the Warriors to win this basketball game. I expect them to win by 6, 7 plus. I just think it might take 18 minutes into the basketball game. But this is definitely going to help the Golden State Warriors out. And it's fucked up to say it, because of the situation. This team needed this, though. I mean, this team was trash. This team needed just kind of to regroup, get their minds clear, and now they should be able to come back and play basketball. These are professionals making millions and millions of dollars. I understand the situation, and rest in peace to the man, and prayers out to his family. But these men are paid to do their job, and they're going to go out there, and I think they're going to rally around it. They're going to rally around the coaching staff, and we know they have some talent. And I think they'll start looking a little bit more competitive. And nothing's better than seeing the Atlanta Hawks come through the door when you're trying to get right and feel good. A feel-good moment, well, the Atlanta Hawks are pretty good. It's kind of like when you break up with your girl, and then, you see the next-door neighbor is a new neighbor, and it's a new hot female. I mean, it's just like, oh, okay, something works out here. It's going to that's what the Atlanta Hawks are. They're not good. So, they could be good for our pockets. I believe they could be good for the spirit of the Golden State Warriors, the fans, the team, everyone in that locker room. The Atlanta Hawks, are going to make the Golden State Warriors feel pretty good, in my opinion. So I like the Warriors here in this game, Jim. I kind of want to make it official here, but I haven't bet it yet because I really think I was going to wait, and this I do believe is a better spot if you wait live. Something I did bet. And I'm trying to tread lightly with these goddamn props, but some of them just stand out to me so much, Jim, when I'm looking at them. Is Murray, man. He's averaging 26 points per game the last 4. Now, one thing I know about Golden State is their defense is definitely suspect, especially on the perimeter. So you can expect Devontae Murray to get 30-plus tonight. I like him an awful lot. If you can give me the best number out there for him over points, I'm not mad at points, rebounds, and assists, but I think, the points is coming easy for him tonight. Steph Curry does not want to see this guy coming at him. You move Klay Thompson, anybody you put in the lineup really is not going to want to see Devontae Murray coming at him. He's too quick for the bigger guys as well.
DeJounte Murray, we'll look at him in a couple different spots. Here at 365, he is 26.5 at -115. That's 8 cents better than he is at Pinnacle. I'm surprised, but 365 doesn't usually do that.
Yeah, let's lock it in.
Okay.
He had 35 last game. He had 35 last game out. He's obviously has the ball the entire time like he should be. If you're going to have this guy on your team, he needs to be running the show. All right? That's why it doesn't work with Trey. It just doesn't work because Trey wants the ball in his hand. And he thinks Atlanta is his team.
And Stimmy big on the over 235 here. Interesting. I'm going to stay off the side here.
Is there a 6 out there anywhere, Jim?
No, but you could pay for the 6. It's not expensive. The 6 over here. Sorry, look at the game. The 6 is it is expensive. -117.
Yeah, I'll just wait. I think people are gonna like Atlanta here for some reason.
Let's review action, but first we hit the 10-minute mark. There's 10 minutes left in the race. Let's just take a peek at what's happening here before we review all action. Iron Eagle up front, Billy Briz making a move along the outside. Browns Hughes also up front. Browns Hughes stretching his lead. Wow, Browns Hughes making a run here with 9 minutes and 43 seconds left in the race. It's Briz and Browns Hughes. Oh, Bunk Hoots! A Bunk Hoots signing, and Nutflush Allen also in his Preston as well. And Slaughter.
It's a long-ass race.
Yes, it's 2.5 hours. 2.5-hour race.
Fucking man. These horses are going to need some water, bro.
Oh, yes, they will. They will. Nasty Nate taking a lead, so we're 9 minutes left in the race. Daby Cab and Nasty Nate up front right now. Let's review all action here, and we'll come back to the race in a couple minutes for the ending. Here we go. In NBA, I'm going to be on the T-Wolves first quarter and first half. We have Dutch starting his action with the Bucks first half full game. First half -4 and full game -6.5. And this is another spot where I'm first quarter, first half for me. Dutch is on the Mavericks plus 2.5, minus 104. BJ gave us his best bet, and that was Dallas Mavericks money line. Then Dutch has a lean to the Thunder first half. He may move on it. He has a lean towards the Warriors. We'll see if he moves on it again. We have our big basketball live betting show all about the hoops this evening. And Dutch is on DeJounte Murray over 26.5 points. So our guy, Chris DeHood, looking for a birthday pick. Is there one spot on this board? I would imagine that, it would be between the Bucks and the Mavericks for you. What would be your best bet?
Yeah, man. I said a Fear the Deer -4 first half. It's good money. Happy birthday, bro.
The birthday pick for our guy, Chris, from Dutch is the Bucks first half -4 for our guy, Chris. Bo Jackson says he's going to live bet with the Warriors for a better line, so he's liking that as well.
Shout out to Bo.
Great stuff, Dutch. Thank you for rocking with us. Please follow and support Dutch on X at Dutch Boy Fresh and Medicate Mondays every Monday and our live stream every Wednesday, 7:15 p.m. Eastern. It pops off right after last call. All basketball all the time here on Wednesday nights at Pub Sports Radio. Dutch, my man, thank you for rocking with us. Any last words for the Capper supporting the show?
Yeah, appreciate you, Jim. Be sure to check us out. Check us out tonight, all about the hoop, 7:15 Eastern time, right here, Pub Sports Radio. We'll have Troutwayne, we'll have LJ, we'll have our boy, of course, Daby Cab, the co-host. We'll bring him through. See if we can't get Miss Hound the sighting. I'm trying to get Miss Hound out, come out, see the boys. But yeah, we'll be highlighting the Suns and that Dallas Maverick game, man. We got good action, and we'll be talking about a lot more action throughout the night. So check us out. Appreciate you, Jim. Y'all stay fresh.
Respect. There he is, Dutch, a boy, fresh. Well, let's bring Jose up here and the horse race while we review our action on today's show and I'll decide what my best bet is. Jose, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well watching the horses go. It's been exciting. A lot of lead changes.
Yeah.
And I think they seem like they're not even tired at all. This is the home stretch. This is when they start kicking.
Right now, we have Preston Ekdahl and Jeff Slaughter fighting up front. And with those two, then we have $100 for Friday if there. But there, Ricky Levine making another move here. Iron Eagle up there with Preston. Ricky Levine moving forwardly. We have 6 minutes left in the race. We'll keep it up as we go through our action here and figure out what our best bet is. Razor Sharp Picks gave us his Gulfstream race card, his full card at Gulfstream. Let's copy and paste this. Gamblestein says, how is the winner determined? It is the fastest horse. The horse in first.
I can't believe people keep asking this question. It's unbelievable.
It is the horse that hits the wire first. And Bunkoots is there right now. Randall Sheffield also making a move. Director 97, $100 richer. Also, for you Canadians watching, we get paid in American dollars, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's big time. That's big time.
If Quinniman says, I bet Jeff Slaughter wins this. If Jeff Slaughter wins this, then that $50 goes back in. Subhuman Gaucho with a slight lead here. We have 5
minutes. Browns uses in the race, doesn't even know when he gets win. Oh my, it's incredible.
The winner, Browns use $50 American. Ricky Levine spent a lot of time up front. Kong's Clips right there as well. 5 minutes left in this horse race. Gamblestein says, you know me, Jimmy, I always assume the fix is in. Well, if the fix is in and it's either Preston, myself, or Jeff Slaughter, then $100 goes in for next week. There's Big Show making a move. Iron Eagle being up front for a lot of this as well. All right, let's review all action. I put Razor Sharp Picks' whole Gulfstream card in the chat. Viper NB, he's on Shea over 1.5 steals. He's on Chet over 15.5 points. Vancouver -1, Colorado -1, and the Kings -1. I wonder if the announcement of both Scheifele out and as well and Velarde out, would the total be moving towards the under? It's not. It's under 6 at +100. I don't get it. I'm interested in the under in that hockey game. I know Mikey Money, as soon as I was going to get off of it because we have great cappers on the over, Mikey Money bullish on the under. I'm still going to spend more time on that Jets Maple Leafs under.
Billy's slapping his own ass right now, I'm sure, because he's pushing.
Joe T up there as well. Jose, you're up there. Oh, Billy Briz making a move with 3 minutes and 45 seconds
Slapping
left.
his own ass somewhere.
So for me, I thought a lot about the Panthers and did not move on them. Both CMac and I are on Bruins -1. CMac's on the over 6 in Washington, Colorado. I'm on the Canucks puck line, -1.5 at +110. Kraken -1.5 at +101. And the under 5.5. And the Kings -1 and the under 6.5. CMac's also on the under 6.5. What would be my best bet? It's got to be in NHL. Bo Jackson like in Leafs in regulation -101 on Caesars. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to expect the Leafs to be that sharp here off of the break. Coming back home after the road trip.
I think my favorite part is everyone commenting about their horses and everything. I think it's my favorite part about this. This makes me laugh. Brown Steve's calling his horse a donkey, and his horse made a charge immediately after that comment was sent.
Sometimes it helps. It helps. You got to be a motivator.
Yeah, if you're in the chat right now, motivate your horse, please. It makes me laugh every time.
Kong's Clips stepping out. Kong's Clips looking for 50 more. Iron Eagle staying up front and looking strong. And here comes Briz with 2.5 minutes left. Briz coming up the inside with Dutch Boy Fresh. Chris Boggin as well. Billy Friedrich has put his nose in the race as well. 2 minutes, 20 seconds left. What is my best bet in NHL? Damn, it's hard. In college basketball, Jay Smooth Ball's play of the day. Richmond, George Washington under 146.5. CMax on Alabama -3. On the under 146 at -105 in East Carolina, Wichita. And he's on FAU team total of 82.5. I'm moving on Rice. He's also on Washington +3. Daby Cab's on Miami first half -1.5 and full game -4. And Illinois first half -1.5. Stacks play today is on Northwestern. And I am interested in Northwestern. I just want to spend a little bit more time on it. I am interested in it. Then, Mikey's on James Madison -7. I've not gone against Mikey Money one time, but God, Old Dominion is appealing to me. Not only that, but Villanova is somewhat appealing to me. I don't know if I get to the window on those two spots, but he's on James Madison -7, Auburn +4, and Auburn money line going heads up with CMac. Then he's on UNC Greensboro at +105, St. John's -3.5, and he's on the under 143.5 at -110. Smoking Trees on LSU +4, and Morgan Spooner's dog of the day is NC State at +215. Justin McKelvey is on Nova +4 here. Crystal Craig making a move. Billy Friedrich. We have a minute left in the race, and Director 97 trying to go back to back here. Wow. And here comes Jimmy the Bag. I hate to say it, but the bag is moving forwardly. Now you want real late pace. Strom Pulliam has that late pace, and so does Bunk Hoots. Iron Eagle also making a move. Jimmy the Bag dropping back. It was too early of a push. Sharon smells the wire, and he wants it. Who's going to take it from him? Daby Cab is making a move, and so is Chris Boggin again. Chris Boggin's been up there a lot. Billy Brias has flattened out. 17 seconds left. Saturated making a huge move on Sharon. It's Saturated and Sharon, and Iron Eagle coming as well. Here comes Joe T. Making a huge move. Joe T wanting all the money.
Oh my God,
Director! And it's Director 97. Back.
Oh my God.
Wins.
Director, he's got some fucking tranquilizers in there. Whatever he's doing. My God.
Back to back wins for Director 97. We've had 3 races and only 2 winners. Good God. Director 97. So that means Director 97's won every cent of this.
Yeah,
because my money went back in. So Director 97 up 150 American.
Man, I love Gamblestein's questions in there. How can someone rig this? Is this legit? Gamblestein, this is as legitimate as it gets, my man. You need to be in this race. It's only $10.99 a month to be in this race twice a week. Oh my, Director 97 just paid for his whole membership for the whole year plus.
And you get more than just this, Gamblestein.
Well, I mean, but what else do you need? What else do you need besides this?
150. Nut Flush Allen says, "Why the fuck am I screaming at a fake horse? Really need to reevaluate your life." No, this is exactly the way it's supposed to be. Exactly what it's supposed to be. $150 richer for Director 97.
You know, I wish this was rigged. I'd rig the fuck out of this for myself. My horse is a fucking mule. Can't get through this. But shout out to Director 97. I guess that's just my burner account, obviously. Wherever you are, my man, email us again and let us know you're alive.
And Joe T, can you hit us with the with your best bets? I thought I had them. Can you hit?
He likes, I'll tell you, he likes UNCG, Western Carolina over, Mercer Citadel over.
How do I copy and paste that? Okay,
so that's a great question. That is a.
Sorry, he's on UNGC Western Carolina over.
Yeah, over 132.5.
Over 132.5. And what's the next one he's on?
Mercer and Citadel.
Over?
Citadel. Well, 133.5 over, yes.
All right. And what is the best bet on the entire
damn
board?
Jimmy, your jockey might need a talking to.
Was I last?
You were second to last. Holy shit.
That's fine.
Oh, he blew that fucking horse out immediately.
I want to be fresh for Friday. If I'm not going to win, just sit back. Who was the trifecta? Who was in the try?
Oh, God, this makes me laugh just thinking about how this is said. It's Director Saturated and Joe T.
Oh, man.
Yeah, of course. Of course, I don't get show. No money for me. Just always missing out right on the edge. Fourth place.
Fucking zilch for you. Zilch. I would say, God, the best bet on the board here for me would be the Canucks on the puck line. -1.5 at home against the Blues.
Wow, your favorite team.
Fourth, and I rarely bet on them. Fourth game of a 5-game homestand. This is a smash spot for the Knuckleheads.
Yeah, this is a rare one. You never bet on the 49ers and you don't bet on the Knucks. And the Knucks are good. I haven't even heard you complain about the Knuckleheads once this year. It's been shocking. That's how I know. You know, I might have put a silent cup bet on the Knucks. I need to double check if I did that. But I always want to root for my pals' teams there.
You're a good man.
Not flush. Now, not flush. Now you know. Now you know the way into the system.
Oh, that's fun. Congratulations, Director 97. He was shocked when he found out he was up a hundo. Now another 50. Wow. Yeah. Director 97, the white horse. Impressive. Yes. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Kelly McInnes, Justin McKelvey, Nutflush Allen, Equanimous, North Ender running so hot in NBA. I love it. Saturated, Lingo, Wick. What a group. Joe T. Greensboro over 132.5. Mercer over 133.5. Gamblestein. Kong's Clips. Nutflush Allen, thank you for all your support. Cody Norton, Preston Ekdahl, all of you guys. Dave Burke, Billy Briz, Billy Friedrich. Thank you guys. Thank you all for your support.
Jimmy, I think I want to get nuts here. I'm addicted to the horse races. I'm addicted.
Sure.
And so here's what we're gonna do. I think I'm gonna do my own Jose Bouquet $50 horse race tomorrow on the show. I'm just addicted to it. I need to keep seeing the horses run.
Jesus.
So here's the thing, Jimmy. If we get 5 people, just 5 people to sign up for the membership on Thursday during our show, we'll run the horses again. I'll send $50 to the winner.
Look at you, Jose.
I need the horses. I need it. There's nothing more exciting. They're still running, Jimmy. They want more.
Okay, well, how about this? I'll split it with you. I'll split it with you. You don't need to do that all on your own. I'll split that with you. So we'll each send $25.
$25 from each of us. Yeah. 5 new members next show on tomorrow's show on Thursday. That's what we need here. Damn it. I love watching the horses run. I might just do one every day and just go broke. Just so we can see the horses run every day.
We'll start a second job. We'll get a second job just so we can afford the daily horse races.
Yeah. Oh God, it'd be worth it. It'd be worth it.
Thank you guys so much. I've got to go. This sucks. So last time this happened, I'm not going to have time to get my bets in before picking up Ella. I forgot to put in Iowa. I didn't go down to the bottom, and I didn't put in Iowa after Whiskey had shocked the world by beating Purdue, and I didn't have Iowa. But I meant to bet them. I was going to bet, and then I watched Iowa win easily, and it made me want to just smash things. So I can't make that mistake when I come home. I got to stay cool and calm and get my action in. It's okay if it's 30 minutes late. It's okay. It's not going to change anything. Stay calm. Stay very calm. I love you guys. Justin Thompson says, riding the Bruins with us. Let's get that cash. Spencer Martin, don't stand on your head. Jose, great job, my friend. Another horse race tomorrow. Jose and I will send $25 each to the but if you're Canadian.
Yeah. And if you're French Canadian, no thanks.
Nothing for you. Nothing for you.
Ugh.
Let's it.